Terrific.
Good.
Okay, we are now recording. This is the happy hour is officially started.
All
You
right.
bet. Oh, wait, what have I got here? Being recorded. Oh, there it is. Got it.
So if you don't, if you
Got it.
either watch what you say, or if you don't want anybody to see you, then sign off. Because we put these up for people who are too shy to join us, but enjoy watching us. So they go up and I posted
Kind of
on,
stalking, isn't it?
what's that?
It's like we're being stalked. They're
Yeah,
stalking us.
kind of.
Yeah.
But I set up a YouTube channel for us, so you can see almost all of the happy hours. I think there was one I didn't record, plus the 2 virtual reunions we had.
All right, come here.
So if you want to go back and see what they were like a couple of years ago, you can see them on YouTube.
Excellent.
I watched a couple of them. There was a couple of them that I was falling out of my chair laughing.
Well,
I
you're
mean, some of
supposed
the
to. That-
stories were just transporting, you know?
We aim to entertain.
Gee.
We talked to Dave and Sue the other day, Birdsall, and they can't make it tonight.
Well, they said they'd be late.
Oh,
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
good. They were going to a,
Presentation. or
yeah,
something.
right,
What are they going to?
a lecture or
Some-
presentation.
Yeah,
Yeah. But, oh,
But
good.
it's-
I hope they
That's
get on.
over at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
I don't know which 9 o'clock.
oh, yeah, it's,
Right.
it's, they're on
They're
Midwest time.
central, so they may
Yeah.
not. make it.
Central, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys all been settled in now? You've made a big change.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we're
You
very
made a big
settled.
change.
Yeah, we're real settled.
Everybody happy?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are.
You're fitting in okay, or you still need a shoehorn to get in?
Yeah, we need a shoehorn,
Yeah,
but
we
that's
do.
okay.
It's working
It's
out.
working.
Where did you move to?
We moved 2 miles from our house to what was the old Ypsilanti High School. It was actually the second high school in this town. This town will be 250 years old in August.
Wow.
So,
Well, that's even older than we are.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Combined.
And the first high school burned down, so then they built a new high school in 1915. And then they added on in 1929, and then the section we're in, it's like U-shaped now. The section we're in was added in 1950. So we're in the new part,
Were they converted to condos and everything?
converted into
Apartments.
apartments, senior
Apartments.
apartments.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
they did that with a school in Baltimore too.
did they? I think it's
Yeah.
great. These
So
buildings are
you go
beautiful.
down to the gym and shoot hoops then, right?
They couldn't rescue the gym, the auditorium, and the pool. They were all too far gone.
on repairs.
Really?
We have a
Oh, yeah,
big
yeah.
courtyard and flower gardens and vegetable garden and gazebo and all
Wow.
that good
Yeah,
stuff.
a couple of grills and a,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's 55 and older, but it's strictly an apartment. So, yeah, we're happy here. It's 2 miles from where we used to live, and we can walk downtown easily and walk everywhere.
And we
So,
don't have to take care of anything.
yes,
Good for you.
Oh,
Good,
that's
okay.
most important. Is it
yeah,
all on one
The
level?
fact that you can walk anywhere
Yeah.
Yeah.
is a testament more to you than to your location.
Yeah.
oh, it's a lot of blessings and good luck, I tell you.
Wow.
Good,
Well,
because
We're fortunate.
Yeah,
I
we're-
have a lot of trouble walking any kind of distance. And
Yeah, and even at the reunion, you had some trouble, yeah.
Hmm.
But.
yeah, you
we're
managed to
very
get, in the ocean though.
Yeah.
Damn right.
I think you and my brother are the only ones that went in.
I wasn't gonna miss
Didn't
that.
Pardone go in?
No,
I don't think
No?
so. I think it
I
was
don't
your
think so.
brother
and Dave.
and Dave and maybe Sue.
Oh, yeah,
and
Sue,
Dave.
Sue Birdsall and Dave might have gone in too,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, at our reunion?
yeah.
Oh, I wasn't going in.
No, me either.
No,
It was pretty to look
know-
at, but that's as close as I got.
Yeah,
it was cold.
Growing up by Jones Beach, anytime I can get close enough to an ocean, I want to get in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
we
did
were
as
just
kids.
down
You
there.
Remember how cold it was at the beginning of the season?
Yeah,
was
We all
cold.
got our lockers and everything. And then first thing we did was run out and jump in the ocean.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
Yeah,
lakes turned blue. It was
Yeah.
so cold.
Kids don't feel it.
No,
No,
I couldn't do that today.
No.
But we were down there to, just got back last week for about 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks.
hey, Harold,
And it was unseasonably warm. It was
Oh,
in
it's
the
Harold.
high 80s and 90s.
Really?
And
wow.
sunny.
Hi, Harold.
good afternoon, Harold. And you're muted.
He's not on yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, and the water temperature was like, it was really warm. I was surprised.
Really, because it never got
Where-
cold.
No.
Where we at?
On the East Coast, just around, just a little bit south of
Yes.
the Cape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we gave John Higgins a call and he was having eye surgery.
Oh.
For cataract surgery,
I'm
so,
gonna need that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we didn't see him before because he was concerned about, getting anything that would interrupt that. And then after a couple of days, we didn't get a hold of him. He was on, just taking it easy. And then, then we had to go.
Then we- well,
went to the West Coast, I think.
no, we went,
Oh, we were down.
we
to Stewart.
thought Bob Zaberna.
Yes, we
Oh, there's Pat.
had a great afternoon with Bob Zaberna.
We thought he was nearby, but he had moved to Melbourne, Vieira, where my.
Oh,
brother-
down there, okay.
Yeah, yeah, so we went and saw him and had a great afternoon with him. Yeah, that was fun.
That is good. I'm so glad you did.
Oh,
Yeah,
too. We
yeah,
sat and had
I'm
lunch.
sure
and-
I'm sure it cheered him up an awful lot.
Yeah, he was real happy, and he loves to see people. He can't do much because of his stroke, and he basically has no use of his left side at all.
Oh,
yeah.
So he's in a wheelchair, but he gets around fine, and he's got a lot of friends. A lot of people were saying hello to him, so.
Do you have a new address and
Yeah.
possible phone number for him? Because
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can
Yeah, I'll-
update him in the directory if you'll
yeah,
either email it to me or put it in the chat or something.
okay. I don't know how
Maybe
long
I-
he's been there, but
I have a picture
it's
too.
a while. Yeah, Lynn took a picture of him too. He looks good. We listened to his story about the whole moon landing, which was just unbelievable. When the first guys hit the moon. Yeah, he was
involved with that.
he was involved in the entire propulsion system to get them there, get them onto the moon, get them off the moon and back.
wow.
Mostly with the lunar lander, though. And we were asking him a lot of questions, how could you possibly simulate what the surface was going to be like so you'd know how to put the moon lander on the moon, not knowing whether it was concrete or 2 feet of sand, but he said that from the pictures they got and everything, they could figure it all out and, just kept their fingers crossed. And I said to him, you see these movies and you hear all these stories about how low they were on fuel before they touched down. And we said, were they pretty low? He said, seconds low. Seconds.
Yeah.
Because what happened, the place they had decided to land, that was the best place to land, was not what it was when they got close enough to see it. It was not as smooth as they thought. So Armstrong had to take manual control of landing it. Couldn't land it, with the computers and everything. So that used up a little bit more fuel, but he got it down just in time to have enough fuel left to blow off and get out of there.
Well, all with a 256 KB computer.
Exactly. We've got
Yeah.
more power in our phones today than the computer that landed that
That's
module.
exactly right.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll come out, but there he is.
Oh, that's good.
Ah,
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, he's got all his hair.
I'll tell you what, he
Wow,
told us some
wow.
amazing stories and has a lot of trophies. He gave Teddy Roosevelt a run for his money, let me tell you, as far as an
Wow.
outdoorsman and, hunter. And
No
all that
kidding.
stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
No, we didn't either.
yeah, he was a cowboy for a
He
while.
he was actually a cowboy for a while.
oh,
Got
Does he
pictures
have
of
a
him.
bear skin rug complete with
Yeah.
bear?
He's got every skin you could think of and a
Wow.
few antlers and heads and Lord knows what else.
Couple of Indians.
Got the
Yep.
jaws of an alligator in there too.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, hi, Jerry and Pat.
Hi, Jerry and Pat.
Hey, Jerry and Pat.
Jerry and Pat.
Yes.
Hi, Pete.
Hi, Peter Nelson.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
Good.
get closer to the mic. We can barely hear you.
Sorry. Sorry.
And
Greetings.
we can't hear Harold at all.
Well, he's muted now.
Yeah, he's contemplating. He's listening.
There you go.
Ah,
I'm listening carefully. I'm
He's
listening.
choosing his words carefully.
Okay. I
Don't
thought
try and
maybe
tell
you
any
had,
lies. Don't try and tell any lies or I'll flag them.
no, good afternoon, Harold.
Good afternoon to you all too.
Yeah, what time is it there?
Yeah,
What?
he's
Couldn't hear that.
45.
What?
So it's up to 3:45 p.m.
Okay.
3:45 p.m. Yeah, the dogs are on the bed. They're in here reminding it's 15 minutes till I have to feed them. So
Oh, I see them. Yeah.
if I disappear at 4 o'clock, I'm sorry. It will be right back.
Feed me.
And Jerry and Pat, what time is it there?
4:45.
4:45.
Okay. The night is young.
Yeah,
So you're out west.
yes.
Yeah, California.
We're
Where
on
you
the other
at?
coast. We're on the other coast.
Left.
Where in particular?
Halfway between LA and San Diego.
San Clemente.
Ah,
Nice place.
Nixon's hometown.
Yes, sir.
Well, he lived in the same town that we live in.
I see. Except he doesn't live there anymore. I mean, he
No,
dies
no,
there.
no,
Not
no.
even.
He's resting there, I guess.
No, not even the old compound. It's all been chopped up and divided and built upon and
Huh.
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
over the years.
You guys keep going. I'll be back in a minute or two.
Okay.
When Nixon was in town, the surfers were not very happy because his home on the bluff was right on the ocean of a famous surfing spot. When
Oh,
he was in town, they closed down that surfing spot. It's called Trestles. And the surfers were not very happy, so they didn't vote for him on his reelection.
wow. So is there a library or something there?
Oh, that don't.
Oh, that's a sore point. Go
Oh,
ahead.
In 1987, we had amateur city council people negotiating with the Nixon people for the library in town at a beautiful, beautiful spot that's actually still vacant and it overlooks the ocean. But our amateur city council said, oh, we want a bit more. And the Nixon people said, this is our best and final offer. And when our city council in 1987 didn't accept it, the Nixon people said, see ya, and they went someplace else about 45 miles away. So
Oh, wow.
whether you like the guy or not, it would have been fabulous resource to have in the city.
Yeah,
right.
Gone.
yeah. Jerry's not too bitter about it.
Yeah, right. You could tell.
Oh, they built the Nixon Library in the town where he I guess was born, where he grew up in Whittier.
Whittier.
And
No, it's-
oh, Yorba Linda, sorry. And
Oh, okay.
it's, I guess we've been there. We were there around Christmas time one year. A company that Jerry was doing work for had their Christmas party there. And it was nice, but it would have been beautiful to have had it here, but
Yeah.
it just didn't work out. So
Yeah,
it's
it's too
just-
bad.
Somebody come into town, say, hey, let's go up to the Nixon Library for a couple of hours or something, and it would just been fabulous. The times that I've been there about 3 times, and it is fascinating, but I'm not going to drive there unless it's some sort of an outing. I'm just on my own. Forget it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
we have other memories of when he was here. Our daughter, who was probably about 12 or so at the time, was playing Bobby Sox softball. And one of the girls on her team, her dad was Secret Service.
Ah,
And so he got the team down to the compound and they all had their team picture with Nixon.
Really?
My mother absolutely loved it, but she said, why didn't the girls take their hats off? You can't even see their faces.
Oh,
They were in the shadow of the brim of their hats.
Sure.
So anyway, that was, you know, a memory that we have from the time he was here. We
But
never got to see him. but the
That's
kids-
picture number one. Picture number two is my mother-in-law,
Oh,
Pat's
God,
mom.
Yeah.
They went up to the local outlet, and on their way back, they saw that the Nixon limousine was at our local golf course. So they went home to our house, picked up their golf clubs, and then went back to the golf course, just probably a half mile away. And my mother-in-law just blatantly just goes right onto the 18th green with Nixon and the Secret Service. And the Secret Service come jump on her. A harmless
A harmless little old lady.
lady. But she had autographs earlier from Wagner and Rockefeller. And
Wow.
She
She
was
was
a
a groupie.
so we have a photo of my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, and their friend with Nixon on
the
the
golf
18th
course.
green.
That's great. That
Wow.
is great.
Lucky she didn't get shot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I thought we were gonna say you had a picture of her in her jail cell.
Yeah, with handcuffs.
Almost.
She had my vote.
Anyway,
That's funny.
anyway, so.
Wow, interesting.
Sue
Yeah.
Schubert
David
was
Russo, how are you
posting it
doing
on-
over there?
Good guys, good.
Where
you
are
doing?
you?
I'm in Florida right now for the winter,
Yeah,
and then we'll head north about middle May.
Very good, because it's still winter here.
yeah.
Yeah,
And we know where you are, Harold. It's still winter there.
yeah, it is.
Now,
Yeah, we
Pete,
actually, we actually had a little small snow last night. So I got to tell you, winter is not over yet, but
No,
it's getting better. It's getting better. And,
Yeah.
What's a
Exactly.
small,
Things-
what's a small snow?
oh, half inch, an inch, enough that you can see tire tracks.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Jer-
It's just-
Jerry, how many feet had you had a Tahoe?
More than 40 feet.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh.
And it's still,
And it's
Holy
still
cow.
snowing.
one of the ski resorts is gonna be open, will not close at all. It'll just go right through until November.
That season.
Really?
And the one that we go to locally, it's gonna be up until May 1st. And
Wow.
they usually go
Wow.
first to
Tony
close.
skied there. Tony skied there.
Tony,
Where
wait,
you
Oh,
ski?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's where we ski.
yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
that's gonna be open till May 1st. So hey,
you can
Hey,
still
hey.
come out.
not only that,
Remember now, you asked us once before and we
Tony,
did.
you go for free. You're 80. You're 80.
Aren't we all? Yeah.
Well, I'm only 79, so I'm waiting for one more year, and then I get my pass. Right
Well,
now, it's
that's-
setting back all of
I got 2
$29.
years.
No, the snow has been amazing, absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Can you even get up there?
Roads closed, roads open, people can't get here or there, and
Wow.
it's really been quite a season this year. Quite a
Yep.
Well, what about where you are in California? We kept hearing how Southern California was getting snow.
Well, yes, some areas did. You know, we're at the beach, so we don't get snow. We've had very high winds and a lot of rain. But some of the local mountains, actually driving on the freeway the other day, I looked one way and I could see the ocean, and I looked the other way and I saw this gorgeous cascade of mountains with snow as far as you could see, because the
Wow.
elevation was down so low. It
Wow.
was pretty. So yes, some of the local areas,
Did Boulder get like 10 feet?
yeah, I don't know what,
There's a local mountain, Mount Boulder, that is prominent from LA state downtown, and it's had over 10 feet this year. So I mean,
Wow.
which is a lot,
Which is
it's a
a
lot
lot.
for there.
I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. So
Yeah.
winter has been showing its colors everywhere, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere you hear on the news, there's something going on weather-wise, so.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
got out of here and missed 2 snowstorms because we were not here.
mhm,
5 inch and an 8 inch, but that's, we don't mind.
Yeah.
Mhm.
we're sorry we missed you guys in Florida. We were planning to go down with Sue and Dave Birdsall as well, but we had other obligations.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna meet them down there as well, and we were talking to Sue, as a matter of fact, driving down, and she said, no, we're going home, or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, they did have something they had to get home for, so maybe it was
They were just
unexpected.
done.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're done.
Wow.
But we're gonna
I'm
see
going
them.
down- I'm going down to South Florida, the end of April for a cousin's bar mitzvah.
Oh, nice, nice.
So I'm wondering with Bob in Melbourne, maybe I can stop by on the way back and say hello.
Oh, he would love that.
Yeah.
He would he's just short distance off of 75 and very easy to get to.
Yeah, it's in Vieira. That's years ago when they created that place, there was nothing there but a minor league baseball field.
Huh.
That was minor league for, I think it was the Marlins, right?
Yeah, and before that, Bob said that's where he used to go hunting.
Right.
Yeah,
Now you wouldn't believe what it looks like now. It's all built up. You know, it's amazing. But
well, where are you,
Yeah.
Dave Russo, in Florida?
St. Petersburg.
Oh, so you're not terrible. Yeah, you're.
Oh, the
on
West Coast.
Right.
Yeah.
right. Yeah. But yeah, he was pretty happy to have us there because he said a lot of the people in his area are dementia patients, and he's got every bit of his wits about him.
oh,
Sounds like,
And
yeah.
Yeah.
he doesn't have too many people he can talk with, and
Oh, that's sad.
yeah, it is, you're right.
I think.
But he's right near that baseball stadium. You can see it from his place. So, yeah, it's very easy to get to him.
Mm.
That's what keeps us going is keeping active and having friends and discussions and.
Right,
yeah,
Debates or whatever
exactly.
you want to call it. But
Yeah,
it's too important not to have that.
that's right.
it is.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were happy to see him. It was fun.
yeah. Yeah, he said, tell anybody you talk to that if they're anywhere near here, come see me. I'd love to see him.
Yeah,
So,
And Dave went to see him also when they were down there. I think.
Yeah.
Yep, he did.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna see them next month. We're going to St. Jude's for an event at
Oh,
the
Oh, that's
hospital.
right. They said that. Yes.
Yeah, so we just talked to Sue yesterday. We're gonna fly down there and stay with them for a few days and
Yeah, because she wanted to know when we'd be there because you're both going down
Right.
there for a baseball game, right?
You're going to Mississippi, right, early in the month. Yes.
No,
Oh.
there-
Oh, no.
we were gonna go at that time when you're coming, but that series is just too difficult to get tickets, so we're going in early May to Mississippi State versus Arkansas.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Yeah.
And
Great.
then we're gonna go on down to Laurel, Mississippi to see Ben and Aaron Napier.
Do you watch HGTV? Home. Okay.
Oh, yeah. He's the big guy.
Yeah,
the big guy.
right. Their segment is called Hometown.
Oh, I love that one.
They're in this little town of Laurel. And the houses are,
Yeah.
people will say they're moving back to Laurel and we want to spend 200,000 to buy and renovate a house.
Right.
And they do it. And these
Jeez.
houses, they are so charming and
They're beautiful.
we just love their show.
Really?
And on my bucket list is to get down to Laurel. And since we're going to be in Mississippi and relatively close, a few hours drive, we want to get down there. And so Jerry has a contact at Mississippi State who says he knows Ben. So I said, okay.
So I'm
There
gonna
you
send Ben,
go.
I'm gonna send Ben an email and say, listen, if you'll give us 15 to 20 minutes, then you can have our Lake Tahoe home for a week. Is that a bribe or what?
They just seem like the sweetest people.
They
They're so
are.
sweet.
I just love their whole attitude and
Yeah.
their he is just an amazing woodworker and
Oh, Incredible.
so anyway, we're hoping that that it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but we'll at least go down and see Laurel. I just want to do that also.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, we never watched those shows, but every doctor appointment we go to.
Oh, there,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, has that channel on.
Yeah.
We're thinking about getting in the home renovation business because we've watched it so much.
Yeah, right.
There's so
Doctor's
many,
office, dentist, whatever, that it's not on there.
I know.
there's so many new ones on now.
There
You know,
are.
there used to be, you know, the flip and flop and, you know,
Yeah,
bu-
right, yeah.
love it or list it. Now there's like, you go on, it's like, where did these people come from?
That's right.
Who pitches those concepts?
Yeah, there's,
You know, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
there's three blind men renovating a house. It's like, what?
In Indianapolis.
yeah.
That's great.
Hey, Pete, where are you located?
I'm in Northern Virginia, about 30 minutes outside of Washington, DC.
Where?
Not far from Dulles Airport, about 6 miles from Dulles, Leesburg, Virginia.
Yeah, I know, we know where it
I'm
is.
about 10 miles east of Leesburg, Virginia.
Okay,
Yeah, I've been down here since, believe it or not, since 1974.
wow.
After I got out of the military, I had been assigned to the Pentagon, and then I got out, and we just stayed down here because Lynn had a lot of, you know, siblings that lived in the area.
Wow.
Almost 50 years later, we're still here. So,
Huh.
and it's, I finally went out and got a haircut the other day, and the barber said, like, "Where are you from?" And I'm going, "What do you mean, where am I from? Do you think I have an accent?" And she said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
She guessed New Jersey, but I thought, I've been working on getting rid of that accent for 50
What-
years.
What took you to the Pentagon, Pete?
Pardon me?
What were you doing at the Pentagon? What,
So I was in the Pentagon for a year or two as a military guy, and then but for like 25 years before I got out, I was commuting from here to the Pentagon. But I was with the Assistant Sec Def for Intelligence. I was in the intelligence and security business, and then when I retired from the government in 2002, then I did another 11 years with a defense contractor. So
I was there in '68 before I went into the Foreign Service. That was my first federal job.
oh,
And I was in our training room was fourth corridor E ring, basically right where the plane hit many years later.
yep. Yeah.
That was kind of sobering.
Yeah, my office was on the other side of the building that day,
Wow.
but as it turned out, I had actually left about 20 minutes early to go to a meeting in another place. So, but yeah, I was there for 25 years.
Huh.
When they started cleaning all the asbestos out, I started recalculating my longevity.
Well,
You know? When they rebuilt the whole place, it's like a lot of asbestos. So.
I always thought they should give people a medal if they could find their way to their office in the morning.
Yeah,
That's
really.
true.
That's not an easy building to get around. You take the wrong ramp, you wind up on the other side of the building.
Lynn was driving a bunch of kids and being followed with a neighbor where we lived down there to the zoo and wound up in the parking garage in the Pentagon. Yeah, made a wrong turn someplace.
Well, there's all that
I guess.
construction, there's lots of construction going on and everything, and all of a sudden I realize, oh my gosh, we're in the grounds of the Pentagon, and we come across a guard, and he said, ma'am, where are you going? I had a bunch of little kids in the car. We lived in Alexandria and Burke at the time. Well, Alexandria, then Burke. I said, well, we were headed to the zoo, and he said, well, you're at the zoo.
Yeah, he said, "You're at it."
You've arrived.
You're in the wrong state.
Hey, there's Sue and Mary and Eleanor.
It's little late, little late.
Okay. Better
Did I
late
miss anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll fill you in next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
hi,
I want,
And hi, Mary. Mary, you're on twice.
Yeah, there's Mary and Mary.
Mary and Mary. How come it shows you twice, Mary?
Double of pleasure.
I can't hear anything.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
and Susan, hi. You're
Is Sue
muted.
on?
she's
Oh,
muted.
hey, Sue Schubert. Hi there.
Unmute.
Y'all have to unmute.
I unmuted her.
Good,
good.
okay.
Say something, Susan.
Hi, I was at a hockey game watching my grandson.
Oh,
I raced back so I could get on the call.
Sue, did you get my text?
I did. But today,
Yeah, I just said it about 10 minutes ago.
oh no, I didn't.
Then I said, we're on the call. Where are you? Or something like that.
Oh, I was at the hockey rink in South Windsor.
All right.
good. And how's the
Dave will
team
sign
doing?
off on your slip for that one.
Yeah.
Your permission slip.
We're gonna have to say goodbye. We're on our way to a baseball game.
Ah, good for you.
You're
Yeah,
the busiest couple.
it's gonna be a cold
Wonderful.
game tonight, but we're getting rugged up, so.
Well, we were in Charlottesville for our grandson's 6th birthday, which happened to be, there happened to be a UVA game. And our son met us there at the game, and UVA won 24-2.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's quite a,
Don't have that 10 run.
Yeah.
that doesn't even sound like a baseball score.
I know.
Yeah.
Pat and Jerry, thank you for joining us. and
Yeah.
I
No,
hope
actually,
you'll-
if you have your ESPN Plus, so you can catch us, we're right behind home plate. I give the umpire a lot of
Is that-
grief. We have season tickets and
That's awesome.
You can see us on TV.
That's wonderful. Have fun. Have fun.
That's great. That's
Thank you.
great.
Thanks for the update about the chat tonight, and we'll look forward to the next one.
Okay, great. Good
Okay.
seeing you guys.
See
Have
ya.
fun
Everybody.
tonight.
Have
All
fun.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Where'd Mary go?
I don't know. Mary, you still
Trying
there?
to find out. Can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Yes,
Now we
can't
can't
see
see
But
you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out why I disappeared, so.
The name
Well, there
just came
should
up.
be something that looks like a TV camera with a line through it somewhere. If you click on that, it'll start your video again.
I think I'll come out, let me leave and come back.
Well, now we lost it completely.
Leave it and then she'll come back. That's what she was saying, I think.
Eleanor, did
Okay.
your shirt say Wanta?
Yes,
Yes,
I put on my
I was looking
Wanto
at that.
shirt.
Oh, cool.
I didn't even know you had any of those. That
And
looks
I'm wearing my Ron John sweatshirt that,
Oh, that we did at the dinner.
yeah, that
Yeah.
you guys gave to me at the reunion.
Oh, that's
Ah,
great.
great.
I'm so proud of that. Looks like I'm a surfer, ha, ha, ha. I once,
You got
in
in the
Hawaii,
water. You
I
got in the
tried to get
water.
up on a surfboard in calm waters, and I couldn't even get on the board, let alone stand up on it, you know?
Right, right.
So, but now I'm officially a surfer dude.
Sure.
You need some lessons from John Jacks.
Yeah.
That's right. The T-shirts are, I'm not sure the name of the store. It's right across the street from St. Francis on Wantor Avenue. There's a
There are
supermarket,
stores across from St. Francis. That's
right?
beyond
a-
my experience. So.
And
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of, my sister buys them in there.
Oh, nice.
They all
That's
in
good.
pink?
That's where she found them.
So it is pretty new.
Well, let me say, I was up there maybe 3 years ago and got it. So it's new.
Yeah, because there were no stores opposite the church. Where I
Is
was.
there's a bowling alley or something?
Yeah,
And
there
then
was
there's
a
a
bowling
store.
alley.
Yeah, but
But
that
there's
the
not a
bowling alley's
supermarket.
further north, right?
Right. And she took us to the supermarket. I was lost. It all had changed so much.
Wow.
I was lost. But we missed you last time, Lynn.
Oh, I missed you all too.
And
Yeah,
Harold, I want to know, how did Harold make out with the Northern Lights? It was supposed to have been unbelievable.
Okay.
Well,
There's Mary.
Yes, finally, after hitting every single button.
Oh,
on
now
there.
we have both.
I
Voice
figured it
and-
out. Well, I didn't figure it out, but here I am.
Good.
Hello, everyone.
So Harold, did you see the Northern Lights?
this year I did not. Just, we had a lot of clouds and that.
They were supposed to be down here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all the way to
um,
my area, but I never
yeah.
saw them.
Yeah, there's again, way up in the atmosphere, there's no problem. But at the viewing level here, you're very subject to the clouds.
Yeah,
And even though it's dark, you still can't see through those buggers. So,
right.
Yeah.
anyway, while I got the floor for a moment, I wanted to tell you all right away while I thought of it. In getting notice of this meeting and everything, I saw that all the photos had been posted. And I got to say thank you to whoever and all of you that had anything to do with it. In
Guilty.
particular, I enjoyed them all, but I will tell you the 50th reunion where we're all there, that was incredible to see those photos.
Yeah.
And
I
it was
enjoyed
really,
Yeah.
really good. I mean, it wasn't as good as the event, but it was really good.
It was. Thank
I'm
you,
glad- I'm
Dave.
glad
Thank you,
enjoyed them.
whoever did it, how it got done. I don't even.
There he
wanna know.
is.
Dave did it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Well,
Dave.
You're welcome. I had to save them from destruction now that Shutterfly shut down all all these share sites, as they call them. And I had to, at the last minute, album by album, transfer them all to my account on Shutterfly itself. And then to keep them on there, I had to make a purchase. So I bought a print I didn't need for $3-4, and that'll take care of it for 18 months, and it's chump change, and I was happy to do it. But so then I figured, well, why not see if I can put them on Facebook so everybody can have them? And it worked. I didn't know if it was going to work or not, but it worked. So I'm glad you enjoyed them, Harold.
Yeah.
Are they
Yeah,
still
they were
on,
great.
Can you still
they
see
were
them on
great.
Shutterfly?
No.
What?
Is Shutterfly completely gone?
No, but all of the websites are gone, the personal websites on Shutterfly. I guess it just didn't fit into their business model anymore. People weren't buying enough stuff from them or something.
So the only place
So-
we can see them now is on Facebook?
No, no,
Oh.
he sent them all.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah.
they're on Facebook. I have them and I have access to them, and I think I sent you links to
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
to them
Yeah, Lynn- I know
on
Lynn's
my,
talking,
you
you know,
you
where.
can download them one at a time. You can't download whole albums. But you can use, and if you've lost them or don't have them, let me know. I'll be happy to send them to you. But I have links for each of these albums, and you can download whatever pictures you want just by going up onto my Facebook account. Not Facebook, Shutterfly. I'm getting confused, but I'm old, you know. We all are. It's a great excuse being old. I love it.
I know.
Yeah, right.
I can throw a lot of stuff up. I can't, I'm 80, you know.
You
Well,
know.
the group shots are like almost like a road gallery. okay?
Yeah.
But they're really good. I mean, there's really good photos in there, and you can really recognize people. And I was just really excited to see how well it had come out. And
Yeah,
again,
and that's
I
from
just-
12 years ago, 13 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hard to believe.
That's pretty soon. I guess we don't count the first 50 to get there, huh?
Right, right. Yeah, thank you, Dave, for doing that, and I wish
Yeah.
I could volunteer to help
I
you.
really need somebody to come
I
up
know.
behind me and be prepared to take this thing over, because I'm afraid if I get incapacitated, it's just gonna, everything is just gonna die. And there's no reason for that. I'm not indispensable. And I'd love for somebody to train up behind me just as a backup, you know?
Well, you
Okay.
better not count on me. I could barely get onto the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, but some of you must have nephews or grandchildren or nieces or whatever who can help you through it. You know, it's just,
I thought Higgins was gonna do
it
it.
doesn't take that long.
I thought for a minute that John Higgins was gonna do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know where he is tonight, but I think he got a little disgruntled with the way things worked out with the reunion, so.
Oh, we're too old
What
for
did you
that.
get disgruntled about?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
He's probably on a cruise. They think they go on a cruise more than they're on land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dave, have you heard it all from last time we were on John Scuderi? Remember, he was having the back problem. He looked like he was in so much pain that night.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard from him since. And it's been like 3 months. or something.
Yeah, I tried to find him on, I don't think he's on Facebook. I tried to find him, but
Well, I sent you the directory and his contact information is in there.
okay, I have to look in that new one.
Yeah, please, if there are any changes, I'm gonna have to get changes for Bob Zaberna, but if there are any
I'll
other
send
changes.
that.
Thank you. If there are any other changes to yours, or if you know somebody who's not on there and you have contact information, let me know, because I'll wait a few days, but then I'll send out a new one.
Did Bob Saberna move? Did I
Yeah.
miss?
You
I
missed
think he did, either that or,
I'm not
we
sure.
were under the impression that he was still near the Cape, and maybe they
Right.
consider that near the Cape.
Well, who said he was down in Melbourne?
He's
Well,
not,
that's
he's
where we
not,
saw him.
yeah, he's not in
It's
Melbourne.
Melbourne,
He's actually in Vieira,
Vieira, yeah.
but they call it Melbourne
Melbourne,
Vieira
Vieira.
for some reason.
Yeah,
Is he in the same home that he was in?
I
He-
don't know that, I mean, that's
Yeah,
where
because
we
I don't know
saw
where
him.
he was. He's about, I would say, half hour from the Cape. Would you
Yeah,
think? About
probably.
half hour from the Cape. So I don't know.
Now or before?
I have a feeling that he's been here longer than we think. Where he is now, but he's in a great assisted living place. That's
Right.
really nice.
I have his daughter's information too. If I have to, I can get in touch with her. But send me what you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgive me, I've got a little chronic problem that's bedeviling me, and I'm gonna go away again for a few minutes.
Okay.
So have fun talking.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, I'll go have a beer. I'll get my glass of water.
Yeah. Go.
Tony, how's Bob's daughters and family doing? How are they all doing?
Pardon me?
Your brother.
How's your brother Bob's daughters and the family? How are they
Oh,
doing?
well, it's interesting. I was in touch with all of them on the anniversary of his death. I can't believe it was a year ago. 3 days ago was a year. But I don't know where that year went, but
Right.
yeah, they're doing okay. I mean, like all of us, one of his daughters just said, it just seems like he's on one of his long trips, gallivanting around the world. So, but they're all doing okay,
Good, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
His one daughter lives in the next town from where my daughter lives. My daughter lives in Sudbury, and one of his daughters lives in Maynard.
Right.
Right.
Mary lives in Maynard.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm up there, I always go through Maynard and I think about Bob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Doesn't one of them live down in DC here?
Yeah.
Katie, her
Katie
twin
lives in
sister,
DC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the one we were chatting at length with. She's real nice.
yeah,
I mean, they both are, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice ladies. Yeah,
They are.
yeah. And you talked to Daniel too, or you texted, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, his parents were over for quite a while. And then I think he went over to Germany for a while,
right.
but he's back now in Vermont.
Okay.
So, yeah.
and while we were in Florida, we saw another Bob Kamasi.
Yeah.
Another cousin who is also Bob Kamasi. Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah.
Mm.
So he became Sammy to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still
Sammy.
Bob to you, and yeah, interesting.
Good. Good.
So what's new with everybody?
Let's
Had my
see.
80, I finally caught up. I'm now 80.
Are you?
Yes.
Excellent.
Finally.
You
Well,
must have been the
I'll be
baby of the
80 in
class, huh?
June.
No, I think Lynn, you're younger than you're not 80 yet, right?
No, June, yeah.
Yeah, you're younger than I am. There wasn't too many of us that were,
No, we were the babies.
yeah.
Hard to
Well,
believe.
My daughters
Congrat-
all came and all the grandchildren came down. That's what I said. What do you want? I said, what do you want when you're 80? I said, I want you to all come down together at the same time.
Right, right. That
That's
would be
exactly
good.
what I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, you're 80 also, Ginny.
yeah, mine is December 31st.
Oh, okay.
Right to the last day. So I told the kids I wasn't going anywhere for the holidays. They were all gonna have to come here. So I have to tell you this. They all came down. We had a great time. And I was like you, I just wanted my family. No.
Yeah.
big-
I tell them, because they're separated, they don't
Right.
live near each other.
So about
Yeah.
2 weeks after that, a girlfriend of mine gave me a surprise party. And it was all my friends here because I'm pretty active in the community with fun stuff and charities and so I had no idea. But anyway, I went, it was great. And I was talking to my grandson. My daughters told my grandson that they had a party for me. So Colin says, Grandma, he said, how was it? And I said, it was great. They really surprised me, Colin. He said, well, how many people showed up? And I said, well, I didn't count them, but there was like about 35 or 40 people there. And he goes, wow, I wouldn't think anybody your age would have that many people come to a party. You know, like they're all dead or they're all, you know, in a wheelchair or in a nursing home. I said, well, you know, the trick is you got to hang out with the younger people. And he said, you know what, Grandma? I'm going to put that in the back of my mind for later in life. I'm going to hang around with younger people too.
And younger can be 75.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Sue and I are only 78, right, Sue?
Yeah.
We only got 2 years to go.
It was out of the mouth of babes, you know.
Yeah.
I think there'd be that many people come to your party.
That is funny.
Oh,
That is
man.
funny.
And
Oh.
Dave Russo, are you 80 now?
Oh, yeah, October, last October.
Okay. And
Yeah.
Harold?
Joined the
Oh,
club.
yeah. And again, I was just going to point out to you, you got to remember 80 now is the new, new 60, I guess is the way to say it.
There
Right.
you go. There
Yeah,
you
being
go.
80 is no big
Okay,
deal.
I'll
I mean,
take
that's-
that.
No, it isn't. You're right.
That's right.
Take that to the bank.
Harold, what city are you in Alaska?
I'm in Anchorage, Alaska, which is well over half the state is in Anchorage, Alaska. So
I went to Alaska last summer, but we didn't go to Anchorage,
you are along the coast.
along the coast. Yeah,
Yeah, on a cruise ship.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's, you know,
We had a
it's
lot of-
one those-
We had
there's a lot of
rain
pretty
and stuff.
country, a lot of
Yeah.
pretty country and lots of ports of call and all that stuff. But it's,
Yeah.
it's not your, what people are used to as cruise liners. It's not exactly the same.
No, it was very different. It was very different.
Yeah, it is.
I always love, there's a show on, I forget what channel it is, but it's called Iceport, Alaska. And it's all about and it's really, I love watching it. It's fascinating about
Yeah.
all the planes, how they clean the runways and the border patrol, you know, the customs folks and, you know, so it's just, I don't know why I like it, but it's just kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
Always
Well,
loved it.
the border crossing with Canada, I mean, is still, it's no big deal. There aren't exactly a lot of highways, like one. And,
Yeah.
you know, so everybody goes through there, but there's not very much traffic at all. It's really very slow. I mean, and they, I guess they're 24 hours now, but there was a period of time there where they were only about 12, 16 hours a day, maybe. So
Wow.
Wow.
I've crossed it in car several times over the decades, but you don't wrap up a lot of those miles real quick. So
Beautiful.
What brought you to Alaska? What made you settle there?
I out of high school, I went to college, Colorado School of Mines. I got a degree in petroleum engineering. I got out of the Army and I was in Midland, Texas. And the company I worked for announced that they had a discovery at Prudhoe Bay. And I raised my hand really quick and I promoted myself to get to Alaska, and I did.
Wow.
And I parlayed that for 20 years. And
Wow.
I made it up the chain. So, you know, and after that, I just, this place feels as much like home as any place else.
Sure.
And
Sure.
it's just
right.
home from my point of view, and lived other places, California, Texas, and a lot of other folks, but this is a good place. And it's just, it's not, unfortunately, it's still young man's country, and I'm not a young man anymore, but
Mhm.
again, good family raising here, a lot of good things. And especially for those who like the outdoors, the summers are incredible. And that is a nice period of time.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So anyway, I just I came here as an oil man, and I just rode that all the way. So
What
Interesting.
company was it, Harold?
I went to work for originally Atlantic Richfield, Arco, and I was with them for 22 years until they ran me off. And then I went for the work for the state of Alaska. I was a commissioner with them of natural resources, and I managed to kind of hang around the edge, and you know, they never can catch me enough that I get in real trouble, or nobody's hit me yet. Let's put it that way.
Didn't
So-
you run for office, Harold, up there?
What?
Didn't you run for office in the state up there? Didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I made that terrible mistake. Yes. Yeah. Politics is it's a hard thing, because you really have to be committed to it, because you work very, very hard, and you don't know till they're all counted whether you won or not. And you can lose just as easy as you can win. And that's, you know, for people who have grown up expecting to work hard and be rewarded for it, it's a very unsatisfying path to go down, because you work hard, you get nothing. And so I tried once and called it quits.
So what did you run for?
Just the state senate.
Oh.
You know, there's,
Just the state
What?
senate.
well,
Yeah.
hey,
I
look,
had
this is a small state. I'm sorry.
just the state senate.
But
Right.
you would have had to move to Juneau, right?
No, you don't have to move there. Fortunately, it's still citizen legislators here. They only meet for probably
Oh.
about 3 months.
That's right.
So it's not that bad. And in the off legislative season, you can you know, live in Anchorage easily. And the only great part of the government here is that it's a new government. So all the kind of the rules of the game, the Constitution, everything is very modern, and it is functionally a lot easier to work with than some of the older
Sure.
models, you might say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's still politics, and it sucks.
Right.
My one experience with politics was running for school board, which I won. And then I realized after that 4 years, no more politics.
You got it.
Yeah.
just gonna ask you about
Who?
that.
Dave's all right.
Yeah, our state, our US representative is Debbie Dingle. You'll see her on TV once in a while. She is the third, sounds funny, she is the third Dingle to be our representative. I know, it sounds funny. Her husband, John Dingle, was the longest serving.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
I remember that.
Okay,
Yeah.
and he got it. Oh, he was in office since 1950 something.
50 something.
And then his father, John Dingle Senior, goes back to like 1935. So
Wow.
since about 1935, 80 something years, I think,
It's Dingle.
we've had 3 Dingles. Yes. And when she leaves, everybody already said when she leaves, her son or John Dingle, she's John Dingle's second wife, but when she leaves, which who knows when that will be, pretty certain that John Dingle's son will take over, so it'll be 4 Dingles.
Four
in a-
Jingle
Dingles.
carry on.
Yeah,
Yes,
So it's like Dingle Bells.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
would, John Dingle Jr. was serving when I worked on the Hill.
oh, really? Okay,
Yeah, he was very
Yeah,
well.
no, I told him he could
Yeah.
go, he could take you.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
I
anybody,
find everything.
people run
Okay.
against her,
Okay,
but
I'm-
forget it. Why bother?
right, then just text me. I think I have my phone. All
It's,
right.
it's never very close at all, but anyhow,
That's
So
right.
that would have been known as the Dingle Dynasty
correct.
All right.
or Ding
Dingle
Dong.
Dynasty, and they are a bunch of dingles.
What's better than 3 Dingles? 4 Dingles.
Yeah, 4 Dingles, right. Anyway,
When are you running for office?
Who?
When are you gonna run for office?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm too old.
No, you're never too old.
you're
I
only
would be-
78.
That's right. Nobody's ever too old.
You're younger than
Well,
Biden.
I read a quote from
Right.
a woman, an older woman, that said, "It's never too late to be." How did she put it? It's never too late to be whatever you.
What you wanted to be.
Yeah, but
I remember, I know, I heard
I'm
that.
going to find it because I wrote it down. But basically, I think she
never
said,
too
"Oh,
late."
unless you want to be younger, and then you're screwed."
Then there you
And there's no way I'm gonna be a mother,
go.
although people have called me that from time to
Well,
time.
it could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at a certain point or a certain age, when all your pseudo barriers that you had before, it's like, I don't care what I say, I'm gonna say what I want,
Right.
and I don't care whether people like me or not. That's,
Right.
Yeah.
I'd be arrested or voted out within 10 minutes probably.
That's what I admired very much about my late mother-in-law. When she turned 90, she just became totally unfiltered. I mean, she didn't care what she said, where it was, and it was usually pretty funny.
Yeah.
But
Oh my gosh, it was like
Good for
unbelievable.
her.
Yeah, my brother would take her to the doctor or dentist, wherever she needed to go. She was over 100 when she passed away.
Wow.
And she was in her 90s, and he's sitting in the dentist waiting room with my mom, and these 2 very large women came in. And my brother goes, "Oh my God, here she goes." And sure enough, she turned to my brother and said, "Look at the size of those 2."
and she didn't care at that point whether she was whispering or not. It didn't matter.
Yeah,
My God,
Totally unself-conscious.
yes.
Oh,
And he used to take my mom, whose name was Mary, and his granddaughter Mary to church. And he said, I don't know which Mary was more difficult. His granddaughter was 2, and my mother was like 98 or something, you know?
Yeah.
I said, "You're very brave, taking a 2-year-old and a 90-year-old."
So speaking about Mary in church, what happened to Mary Campbell?
I don't know. She just
Oh,
disappeared.
she disappeared. Yeah, I don't know.
I texted her to ask her where she went. She hadn't answered that.
Wow. So
where does
Dave,
she live?
So
Mary's in South
Mary in
Carolina.
North
South
Carolina.
Carolina.
South Carolina, yeah.
Yeah.
She's in the Carolinas.
Dave Cahn, you,
Yes.
when you texted me, you said something about going around the world.
Yeah, I just made my 3rd circumnavigation.
No
Wow.
way.
Whoa.
And it was a bit more of a challenge than the previous ones because of my mobility problems, but I still got a lot accomplished. I had something to do in Malaysia, which I'll explain in a minute, and that's like halfway around. So first I decided, all right, I'm going to get there. I'll break my travel in Amsterdam because, and I was telling Ginny Birch this earlier, I don't know if you remember, but when we were in high school, junior or senior year, I forget which, we put on the Diary of Anne Frank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I performed in that. And seeing the Anne Frank house has been on my bucket list for the past 60 some odd years. And I finally checked it off and I got there.
Wow.
It was so meaningful to me. My
Wow.
only regret is they don't allow you to take pictures.
Really?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it was such a meaningful experience. And I also got to go to The Hague and see the outside of the Peace Palace where the International Court of Justice sits, but they're still on COVID restrictions and they don't have any tours anymore. They don't let anybody in, which I
Wow.
was hoping to do. But so I sort of got to do two things, but the Anne Frank house was just amazing. I saw other things in Amsterdam
Wow.
too. I was there for about a day and a half. And then I
Dave,
flew-
were you on the same boat going around the whole world? The same ship?
I wasn't on a boat. I flew from Dulles Airport to Schiphol in Amsterdam.
Right.
And I spent a couple of days there. Then I flew to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia,
Right.
and that was a long flight.
Mhm.
I don't know, 11 hours or something.
Jeez.
And spent a couple of days in Kuala Lumpur and then went out to this university town, about 15 miles out of town. And I judged the final round of the law school's competition in an international law competition that I'm involved with. I judged their finals and served as president of this pseudo International Court of Justice. So people were addressing me as, either Excellency or Mr. President, and that's kind of
My
kicky.
gosh.
And it was fun being a VIP again for a while. It's been a while since I've been one. And then I flew to. I figured, why go back the same way? I mean, I'm halfway around. I might as well just keep on going.
Yeah.
I flew
Sure.
to Vietnam and spent about 8 days there. And I had never been there, thank goodness, because when we would have gone, it would have been a little bit more of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found that very interesting. And then I flew home.
Wow.
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 Great
The
trip.
home trip was totally lapse time was about 24 hours. That included a nearly 4-hour layover in Seoul, Korea, or Incheon. But
Oh my
that
gosh.
was a hell of a trip. Anyhow, it was a bit wearing, but
Well, good for you.
glad I did it. Part of it was just I didn't know how much longer I'd be able to travel. So I blew all my miles that I had accumulated for decades. And it only cost me a few $100s to go around the world.
Gee.
Awesome.
Good for you.
Awesome.
Wow.
But now I don't have any miles left to speak of.
Well, Your Majesty, that sounds fabulous.
Not Majesty. That's a little bit too high. Excellency.
Your
will do.
Excellency.
Your Excellency.
Well, I'm impressed because, based on how you were at the reunion, you obviously have some mobility issues and that's
Well,
not.
They did
can't be
interfere.
Easy. Oh, my gosh.
They interfered to some extent, like in the city of Hue, which I had been really interested in seeing in Vietnam, which is the old capital. I couldn't see much at all there because where they would drop you off, by the time I walked in, they didn't allow cars into the Citadel area. By the time I walked into my starting point, I would already have been exhausted and
Wow.
wouldn't have had the strength to walk around. So I didn't see much in Hue. But I did have some really interesting experiences. I hooked up with the mother of a guy in Mensa that I know, who's Vietnamese American. And he introduced me to her, and she was there at the same time. And she's got several charities she supports. So I wound up in Hue going to an orphanage that she's involved with. And it was just a whole different side of the country that you would never see. I mean, the kids
Wow.
were, I took pictures of the kids and then they were clambering onto my lap and they wanted to see the pictures and stuff
Oh,
like
my
that.
gosh.
And it was just amazing. And then in Da Nang, that's Buddhist. In Da Nang, she supports a Catholic school, training school for disabled and neurodiverse young people to teach them marketable skills that they can be productive in society instead of drag on society. And they grow fruits or vegetables there, and they have a coffee shop. They make their own pastries. They serve breakfast and lunch, and the eggs at breakfast are from hens that are scampering around the yard and stuff like that. So again, another side of Vietnam that I wouldn't have seen. So
Right.
that was more meaningful than the attractions that I saw. Because I saw real people and people
Yeah.
that we can help. So I'll donate to each of those this year. And but
Good.
it's a very interesting trip.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about, is being
What's
with,
that, Jenny?
I said, that's what a trip is all about, is being with the people.
right,
Yeah,
right.
know?
and I like things also. I like old things because I'm old, so I like things that are even older than I am. But the people were the really interesting stuff. And thanks to this woman who I caught up with recently, she's now in Korea. I have no idea what she's doing there, but she was such a big help. And she drove me actually, or her driver drove between Hue and Da Nang. And so then I saw things in Da Nang, and I went to Hoi An, which is another ancient city. And there I walked, and I walked a lot, more than I've done in years. I
Wow.
just took it slowly. I mean, I'd go until I couldn't, and then I would lean against a wall, a lamppost, a tree, or borrow a chair from one of the stalls and sit down for a couple of minutes. And I must have walked a couple of kilometers altogether,
Oh, my
Wow.
goodness.
but that was over, the course of a few hours. So I just took it easier. I'm kind of glad I didn't go to some of the other places I was thinking of going, like Kathmandu, which has even fewer accommodations for people with
Plus,
disabilities.
it's all vertical.
What's that?
It's all vertical.
Kathmandu?
Yeah, I mean, everything's going up or
Yeah.
down. At least Vietnam, it's probably mostly.
It's much more flat, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
At least where I was. I mean, it has mountains also, but I wasn't
Right.
in. Have you been to Nepal?
No, I haven't. The place, if I was like 30 or 40, that might be a place to go, but not now, unfortunately. Sue's going though, right, Sue?
I've been an ESL teacher for like 30-something years and had so many students from Vietnam. One of them just went back and she's staying there for 3 months. But I've had others who've told me all their stories about, what happened in Vietnam and how they escaped. It's an interesting place. It's a place I'd like to see, but I don't want to fly that far.
Yeah.
To give you an idea how fast time flies, I don't know if you know it, but Wednesday was the observance of Vietnam Veterans Day. Because it was 50 years ago that the last combat troops were pulled out of Vietnam. It was the end of the war.
Wow.
Right.
50 years ago.
50 years, seems like yesterday.
Well, I mean, for some of us that were involved in it at the start, I mean, I'm just 50 years ago is the end.
Wow.
We were
Harold,
based on Guam,
did you serve in Vietnam, Harold?
67 to
I
60.
did not go to Vietnam. I was in the Army during that period, and I trained a lot of other people to go.
Very smart of you. I knew you were intelligent.
Well, it turned out I did have some education that was of value to the Army, and somehow by some miracle I figured it out. because I was one of the few pipeline people they had, and they desperately needed to lay pipelines offshore to bring in gasoline, aviation stuff. and all that. So
Wow.
anyway, it was a fit, and I, you know, this second lieutenant made it through, never got a bullet shot at him, so I count it as good. You know,
This is good. And these pipelines, they have buoys at the end that hold them up out of the water.
in those days, they probably weren't quite that. It was military, let's put it that way, that you could locate them. You know,
Interesting.
so anyway, it was just the idea that there were a lot of people that were very heavily impacted by the Vietnam era and all
Yeah.
that. And it's just different people know different things, and different things happened and whatever to them. But I was just really struck by the fact that Wednesday was 50 years
Yeah.
since the end of combat there. And
I
that-
was-
Yeah.
And none of us heard that. I mean, I didn't know.
No, I mean,
No.
I don't think it was on our
You know,
calendar.
it's very sad that they don't celebrate the soldiers who went to Vietnam.
Right.
yeah. well,
My brother came back from Vietnam, and it was like, you know, he
Yeah.
slipped into the house, and it was like they had a party in the house. I was in the hospital having one of the girls, but it was just like he came home, he slipped in the house, and
Yep.
you know, they had a party in the house.
Yep.
People spat on them, they reviled them. That was so
Never talks
bad.
about it.
I mean,
No, they don't.
and,
Well,
and
when we were stationed on Guam in 67, 69,
Mhm.
we were not sure we wanted to come back. I wasn't sure I wanted to bring the kids back because I had Tracy on Guam. But with everything that was going on in the government and the attitude of everybody and our vets being spit on, I just, it was a hard trip to come back.
I
Mhm.
bet.
And our POWs, you know, and they said, the government said, well, we've gotten them all out, and we knew that they hadn't.
Right.
And Ross Perot played a big part in that back in the day. He
Wow.
did the Rambo kind of thing with that he got a C-130, and he went over there and he brought out a couple of those guys and took them to Washington, almost like that movie. And
he got people out of Iran.
yeah, Jerry Singleton and John Furr were two of my ex-husband's classmates from the Air Force Academy. And I think Jerry was the longest. He was about 8 years in a POW camp.
Oof.
And John Furr was about 6 or 7.
In Vietnam.
Yeah. And when Jerry Singleton, he stayed and he finished his tenure with a 20-year retirement, but he changed to and he became a chaplain, and he retired as a chaplain. But what he experienced in those 8 years, I can't even imagine.
No.
You know, we've never talked about it, but we all did in Dallas. We all had rallies because we knew he was still over there, and we believed that he was alive. And they were saying no, and we had thousands of people showed up for these rallies to try and get our guys home.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
They shouldn't sleep so well, you know.
Right.
I was going through my old 35 millimeter slides a couple months ago, and after years of planning, I decided I'd finally get them digitized. And as I was going through them, well, Tony, you know Bob Postal. I found a picture of Postal around 1970, I think it was. Anyway, down in Washington, where I was living at the time, and he actually looked pretty good, but he was a Marine infantry combat platoon leader, and he had I think a Bronze Star, perhaps with an oak leaf cluster, but he was in the thick of it. It's amazing he survived. He and Pete Heffron went in around the same time out of Penn and Villanova.
And who are you referring to?
Bob Postal from our class. He played football, big guy. Tony, you know Bob, right?
What was his last name?
Postal.
Postel.
Yes.
Postal. Yeah, I mean, maybe you guys didn't know him as well, but anyway, he and Pete Heffron, I guess, and Heffron had an older brother.
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
Steve?
Mike.
Anyway, yeah, so it was interesting. Yeah, my my only vision, I was looking through the slides and I saw one of my slides, I showed, it was a picture of an airport. It was Constitute Airport. And I'm going like, and yeah, I
Wow.
was there for
Well,
about,
that's where I was a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, were you at Constitute? Yeah,
That's it, yeah.
I passed through there. I was flying, I had gone back to the States from Thailand for leave and I was flying back and we were on a, I was on a C-130 and, you know, we stopped there, dropped the door, kick off cargo, and then we flew through northern Thailand to the bases there until we got back to where it was I was living. So, but that was the sum total of my time in Vietnam. Although I loved my time in Southeast Asia with Okinawa and Thailand, that was, you know, really great duty.
Hmm.
So.
Wow. Wow.
Excuse me, I'm just going to be gone for a while. I got to tend to duties as assigned by the dogs.
Okay, well, we
I'll be,
saw the
I'll be
dog.
back.
They're very demanding.
I could hear one of them whimpering, so
Yeah,
it's be dinner
right,
time.
but it was time.
We have in here, in the town we live in has a Vietnam memorial. For all those that served and died in Vietnam in the county, the whole county. And there's a really nice memorial service every Memorial Day out there,
Yeah.
1
That's
o'clock
good.
in the afternoon.
That
Well,
one,
Names and
that's nice to hear.
it's,
They're starting to get the credit they deserve.
yeah,
I think
Absolutely.
the building of the wall in Washington helped a lot
Mhm.
to
Yep.
Yeah.
give them respect.
Yep.
And I don't know if anybody's been there, but it's beautiful. It's just,
Yep.
it's so unusual, but it's just perfect. It fits into the landscape and it's really well done and very sobering. It's a fitting memorial, and that's sort of regularized it and put it there with other things, and people now have gotten used to the idea that these people were serving their country, whether the war was right or not. That had nothing to do with them. They were protecting us and putting themselves on the line, and a lot of them died.
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of people didn't like that wall when it was first built. You know, a lot of the veterans, they didn't think it was, you know, like heroic enough, but I think over
Oh,
time.
it turned out
people
to be
finally
just
got the
what they
design.
needed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is beautiful.
that's beautiful.
Wow.
But
I know when I was working on the paper, we lost somebody from Massapequa, a guy named Klestanek. And I look up his name whenever I go there. It's one person I'm familiar with who didn't make it. And
Well, someone from our class too, Tommy Casey.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
it was funny, but Sue, when I was going through those same slides, was a picture of Lynn and I's wedding in 1970. And I'm looking at the picture at the small reception we had, and it's like, it was Tommy's wife, Bonnie. Remember Bonnie?
Bonnie.
And I'm thinking like, okay, that was February 70, and Tommy was killed in spring of 69. And I didn't remember she was at the wedding, but that, you know, brought back those memories.
Was that when he was killed in 69? It was before
69,
that.
yeah, he was a helicopter pilot, and his
Yeah.
I was never clear whether he got shot down or they had you know, mechanical problems, but either way. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
69 because I remember I was stationed down in Baltimore and rushed back home and was sitting with Bonnie, I mean, for a while, and of course their son was only an infant,
Yeah.
Sean at the time, and then I remember Mike Horst and I and some other, and you know, Bonnie and others, we I think we went down to JFK Airport to meet his body when it came in on the plane.
Oh, wow. I remember his funeral. I went to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, most of those
And you
guys
know,
flew the helicopters were rescued. And that's why they got shot down, because they were trying to save the guys on the ground.
right,
That was
right.
highly dangerous.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But
Wow.
he's the only one I know of directly. I mean, Mike Horst, who was a SEAL in Vietnam, he used to come visit me in Thailand. He ultimately died, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, maybe, of what everybody believed was a result of Agent Orange.
So
He had
many people are
cancer.
suffering from Agent Orange now. I'm trying to think, Blanche and Richie. What's Richie's last name? Do you remember? But
In your class?
he's in Florida.
Oh,
Let's see.
his daughter's name, his wife's name is Blanche.
Yeah, Richie, he was in Bob Schutz's group.
Yeah,
Richie, I can't think of his name, but
but he was
has,
there. That's right.
he's suffering from the effects of Agent Orange, as is my neighbor. My neighbor has Parkinson's. He
Really?
was in Vietnam.
Wow. Well,
Just
it's
That's
not,
what my brother-
not unlike what some of the Iraq war veterans are suffering from those burn pits. Where they get all kinds of toxic
Yeah.
stuff, and all these people are ending up with different cancers and whatnot down, as a result.
Yeah.
But I believe
That's what
they're
wound up.
now getting, I mean, treatment. I think there was a while there that it was iffy about, the VA, but they think they finally got that sorted out.
Yeah, that took him a while to figure out what was going on. Our youngest brother, that's what wound up killing him. He served 3 tours in Vietnam and came back whole. And 20 years later, he died at the age of 42 from cancer from exposure to Agent Orange. And he was the
Jesus.
first case in the state of North Carolina where the government admitted that there was a problem with Agent Orange.
No
Wow.
kidding.
Wow.
That was 1990.
1990.
I didn't
Wow.
was your youngest brother too.
Yeah.
And Tony, are you the last brother left?
I'm the last of the whole family left. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Wow.
the oldest.
My parents are both gone and my 2 brothers.
It's just like Pardone, both his younger brothers are gone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
your brother served 3 tours?
Joe did.
Wow.
Well, he upped a couple of tours, and then because he would go back over there and do training in Vietnam, and he was
Right.
very funny. I mean, he did everything you could think of over there. He was what they called a tunnel rat. He'd go down into the tunnels to get
Oh my God.
GIs out who were down there and freaked out. His job was to go in there and get them out of the tunnels. He was a sniper for a while. He was in the 101st and the 82nd Airborne.
Jesus.
But he went over there to train the troops when they first got to Vietnam, and he didn't talk too much about it, and neither did Sammy really much at all. Him
Right.
less than Joe, but he said he would tell these guys, everything you learned in boot camp was great. Okay, you got to be physically fit and all this kind of crap. He said, but now forget it and pay attention to me because I'm going to teach you how to stay alive. And
Yeah.
you'd give him some of the tricks of the trade, if you will, because he'd been there for so long and out in the jungles and everything. But yeah, he was a good trooper. He's written up in a couple of books about 2 missions he was on that got him a Bronze Star and the other one a Oak Leaf Cluster.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Sammy had a tough tour too. He was in artillery, and
Right.
his artillery site was run over by the Viet Cong. And he told me that they were firing their artillery straight ahead. That's how close the guys were and rushing their, where they were. And he doesn't remember anything but waking up under a bunch of his comrades' bodies who were dead. And he said he thinks that's the only thing that saved his life. He passed out and, or whatever, and other guys were killed. And when they came through, they just kept going. And
they were literally overrun without any evacuation.
Their artillery position was overrun by ground troops. Yeah.
There were so many of them.
Yeah. So he wound up getting out of there, in one piece, but he never got over it. Neither one of them did.
No, I'm sure.
No.
And I think most of them didn't. I don't know I don't know how you do, you know?
So
So
Eleanor,
was he in the same time as Bob was in? As the
No.
same?
No, actually Joe went in first and
well,
Bob,
he couldn't wait to
oh,
go.
he wanted to enlist. As soon as he got out of high school, my parents, he wasn't 18 and they wouldn't enlist him. The day he was 18, he was down in the office signing up. He couldn't wait to get over there. But when Bob graduated from Virginia, they were drafting.
Right. Right.
I just missed going in. I was called for a physical, but I was married and had a child and I was in college. So any
Right.
one of those at that time, you know, kept you out. But Sammy, everybody advised him, you know, enlist in the Air Force or enlist in the Navy. And don't, so you won't be on the, you know, on the front lines or anything. But he said, I'll just take my chances and see what happens. And he got drafted.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Was.
Yeah, that's what I did. I got my draft notice, but I said, you know what? Some of those guys down in, I forget what was the Mike Horse knew some guys that were from Beach or whatnot, and they said, hey, you know, you ought to look into this Army intelligence, which some people said was an oxymoron, right? Which you probably
Yeah, right.
and you know, you get to do all this cool stuff and follow people around and what. I said, you know, that sounds pretty good. So when I got my physical, you guys were talking about it in one previous show. I forget. Anyway, at Fort Hamilton, it was my 21st birthday down at Fort Hamilton, taking all the tests. And so the guy said, well, yeah, you're a good candidate. He said, but he said, tell me, have you ever been arrested? And I said, as a matter of fact, I was arrested. This was in like September 65, right? I said, yeah, I was arrested in April.
Arrested in what?
I said, yeah, I was down at spring break at Fort Lauderdale with, among other people, Tony DiGregorio and Tommy Casey, and I think Mike Zimmer and Mickey Zimmer and others. And, you know, I'll never forget, I was on a motorbike with Casey was driving, and we come up to this parking lot where they had music and dancing. And I was so drunk, the cop that stopped us, you know, I immediately started giving him a lip. Whoop. You guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay, my screen for some reason. Anyway, he immediately put me in handcuffs and perp walked me through.
You just froze.
Yeah, you froze with that comment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
you might be having a
whole group,
bandwidth
and I went
problem,
immediately to
Pete.
jail. In case I told the recruiter, I said, well, look, yeah, I was arrested and blah, blah, blah. He said, well, you know, we're really not taking people now in intelligence that have too many traffic tickets. And I said, well, okay, we'll see what happens. But I guess that went through because, you know, I needed a top secret security clearance. So anyway, that was interesting.
Did you get your clearance? Pete, did
Pardon
you get
me?
your clearance? Did you get your clearance?
Oh, yeah. I had from then on, I had, you know, TSSCI all the way through my entire government career and into my, when I was a contractor, I worked on the staff of the Director of National Intelligence. So, yeah, luckily I was able to parlay that. And since I had no idea what I wanted to do in life, that actually put me on a direction to actually do okay. So.
It's like Mike Vanderwood's story. He's got so much stories about going in the service and what he's doing now too. And it's like, we saw him when we were down in Virginia in February, had lunch with Mike and his wife.
Right.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah.
Hey, I got a top secret clearance story.
Come on up.
I have a top secret clearance story you might find interesting.
No, I have cake.
When I was being, when I was had to go undergo a background investigation for my clearance for the State Department. And at that time, I was working at the Massapequa Post, my parents' newspaper. And this guy apparently came in and introduced himself as an investigator and showed his badge and stuff, and proceeded to interview some people at the newspaper. And this one woman took him around and answered all his questions and gave me a glowing review as to how wonderful I was. And he starts packing up to leave, and she says, "Oh, by the way, I think I should tell you, I'm his mother." So he picks up all the paperwork and just went, tore him up. And I mean, didn't he notice that the name was the same? He had the
Yeah,
same
right.
last name.
Oh, that's
You know,
hilarious.
not too bright, this investigator, but
Yeah, right.
That's
I,
fun.
I had one time, they were doing a reinvestigation of me, and since I've been living here, this is many years ago, and they came to my neighbor who was they were really a fun couple, and they asked the neighbor, said, "Well, what about his drinking habits?" And she says to the investigator, she says, "Honey, he doesn't drink any more than the rest of us." I
Oh,
said,
no, no.
that's the best answer I ever heard.
That's good.
I was astonished when I was getting cleared for a couple of projects or at a place I was working, how thorough they were. I didn't think they would do some of the things they said they would. They talked to a lot of our neighbors
Right.
in our neighborhood and other people that I worked with and stuff. Yeah, they were much more thorough than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, that whole part of the investigation got a lot tougher when you were in the inner city or apartment buildings. But if you lived in, like we lived in Wanto, it was pretty easy. You had obviously identifiable neighbors, but a lot of
Yeah.
times that got a lot more problematical depending on if you had inner city kids and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so anybody have anything new and exciting happening that's happened to them in the last several months that we should know about? Anything new in your lives?
No,
I wish I could say yes, but I can't.
I think
we're still alive.
We're still alive. I
yeah,
think
we are still alive.
that's
I
an
have a-
accomplishment.
Have
I
most
have a
of
lot
them
of
models.
things. We have a golf tournament Monday, then we have a bike run at the end of April, then we have Main Street Days in May. So
What day?
there's all kinds of stuff going on, but it's not real exciting for anybody that's not involved in it,
Yeah, but that's great. That's
But
great.
you're
Yeah.
active. You're active, Jeannie, and that's good.
Yeah.
We stay active. We have a group, it's the Ambucks. I don't know if they have any in your area. It's American Business Club. And we do trikes. We make money to buy trikes for children with disabilities, be it spinal bifida or whatever.
You say trikes?
Trikes, tricycles.
Tricycles.
They can pedal it with their hands or their feet, depending on what disability they have. And we make them all sizes, all the way up to Vietnam, any of our veterans. Some of the guys have to pedal, they need a specific
Sure.
bike so that they can get out and ride with their family. And these little guys, it's the first time they've ever had a bike because they can't ride a traditional one. So we make money doing the bike run, the golf tournament, and things like that throughout the year, volunteering at the Main Street and Great Fest. And I think I just went to a meeting on Tuesday night. So far this year, we've given out over 112.
Wow.
Oh,
So
Good for
and
you.
we pay for it all. If you're little and you outgrow it, we'll give you a bigger one. We'll have you reevaluated and give you a size that fits you. And then we'll take back the old one, try and refurbish it and give it to another small one. So we try and recycle them best we can, but it's pretty
That's great.
rewarding.
and you
When
have
you
hand
get
operated
the
ones
bikes.
for the
Yeah.
paraplegics?
It depends. They get evaluated by a physical therapist. And if they think it's going to be something that'll work for them, it helps to build their muscles if they're pedaling with their
Right.
arms, and
Yeah,
then
I've seen-
the legs will still go around because they're strapped to the foot pedals, and so the legs are still going, but they're not
Really?
do any pushing because the arms are doing the work,
Oh,
So,
Well, I don't know if anybody watches the Paralympics, but some of these people can really get up
Yeah.
some speed. I
Yeah.
haven't
Oh,
seen
yeah.
it where their feet are going around, but I've seen hand crank bikes, and that's amazing what they can
It's
do.
unbelievable. Our son used to run marathons, John, our youngest son, up in Minneapolis, and we'd go watch him. And the races always started with the para, the para part of it. Absolutely amazing. I
Isn't
mean,
it?
just
It
incredible.
warms your heart.
I'm
Yes.
so glad that they're doing that and they're publicizing it. It's on primetime TV. And it really makes it more mainstream.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Things that people used to be hidden in the back room are now out and participating
That's
in
right.
life and society and sports better than I could, that's for sure.
yeah. And there's so many groups that are working like you're talking about, Ginny, that are doing things for these folks. Like, I mean, Tunnel to Towers, building them,
Yeah.
homes that
Isn't
they
that
can
amazing?
deal with, and
Yeah.
a lot of them doing things like that to give them as much movement and freedom as they can.
And if you've seen some of the homes that they're building, everything is automated so that it comes down
Yeah.
to their size or up to their needs.
Yeah.
Right.
Or even the bathrooms are all
Yeah,
so new technology,
it's
that
absolutely
these guys
incredible.
can really enjoy their home.
Yeah, that's one
They're
of our
not having
favorite
to ask the
charities.
children to hold them in the shower,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. They're independent again.
Yeah,
or as
really
close as they can get. Yeah,
fabulous. Good for
But
you.
that's what's new in my life. That's
that's
it.
great.
That's excellent. Yeah. Fabulous.
Harold, one of your dogs is Zoom bombing you. He's on the couch, a black dog.
That's Buttons, sometimes known as Bad Buttons.
Is Buttons happy now
Yeah,
because he had dinner?
that's his gunslinger name, yeah.
At least yours is on the bed. Mine is on my lap.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
Have the-
Harold had one on his lap earlier, a white one.
yeah, that
Hey,
was the cute
pardon,
one.
just,
That was Benjamin. He's the cute one.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Jerry,
Come here,
Jerry
Benjamin. Come
Pat,
here. Come here.
Jerry Pat just sent me a text. And he's got a picture of looking through the backstop screen at the baseball game. He says,
That's
3
good.
up, 3 down, and the top of the first. 2 strikeouts. 2 strikeouts for Nick, whoever that is. Yeah.
That's
They have
awesome.
all those new rules this year too.
Yeah,
That's right.
Oh, in Major League Baseball, too many
Yeah.
rules.
I don't
yeah.
know how to keep track of it all.
Our Tigers were down in Tampa. I watched this. We've gone to opening day in Detroit since 1990. We've gone every year. And most of the time it's snowing.
Yeah,
And we're going next week, but I was watching the game yesterday and our Tigers lost, which is not unusual. But it was in Tampa Bay and I was thinking of you. Yeah. Yeah.
The stadium's in St. Pete,
Right,
across the water.
yeah.
right.
And don't take it personally, but it's the worst baseball stadium in the whole country.
It's the lowest attendance record of, Russo's laughing. Yes, that's what he is.
Yeah, exactly.
They put it in the wrong place. It
Yeah.
should have been on Hillsborough side. It should have been where all the new, you go to visit people who live down in, I can't think of the name of all the towns, but south of Tampa. That's the growing part.
Right.
The
Bradenton
stadium
and,
should, the stadium should have been on 75.
Right.
right,
Would have
Right.
got people from up north, down south. I shouldn't say I never. I do go to St. Pete for some things, but most people are not going to go over there for a ball game. They
Yeah.
can't get people, and it's a shame.
It
They
is.
did that. They
I
did so
couldn't believe
well.
it when they showed the crowd. There was the
Empty.
whole upper level was empty.
Empty.
I mean, and we've gone to, like I said, we go to opening day every year and the Tigers are not very good. We still
Yeah.
love them, but anyway, we had trouble getting tickets 6 months ago and it's winter and you freeze
Freeze above.
and that stadium will be packed.
Detroit, that's one thing about Detroit sports fans. they are very loyal and go to games, even though the teams are not doing well.
Right,
They
right.
really,
And they love them. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't
They-
hear booing,
They
you
put
don't hear.
the Lightning, you can't get tickets to that they fill that stadium all the time, but
Oh,
it's on
yeah.
the Tampa side. So
Okay.
that's much easier to get to than to go on the other side of St. Pete. It was a poor choice, and they have
Yeah.
a
oh, it's terrible.
25-year contract, but it's coming to its end. I think
Yeah.
they have 2 more years.
Not-
to
yeah.
Are they gonna build
Yeah.
a new one?
Poop will get off the pot. They, Hillsborough is trying to get them over on our side,
Okay,
trying
good.
to get the team to, make a contract, but haven't settled it yet.
Well, not
Yeah.
only does the stadium suck, but the concession stands suck.
We've been to every stadium in the country. We've been to
Country.
all.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, that was a goal we had a while ago. And now they're building new ones. We're not going to the new ones. We did it once.
Well, the weather was nice for you. Were you down here recently? It's
Oh, my
been,
Oh,
gosh,
yeah,
it was
sitting- It
fabulous.
was 90 degrees, 91,
Yeah.
92, sunny.
Still is.
Beautiful,
Just
yeah.
Fabulous.
no rain though. We have no rain.
Yeah.
No
No,
rain.
no, we didn't.
We
either.
were okay with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. But
summer night.
speaking of the Lightning, our dentist, Dr. Cole, his son, Ian Cole, plays for the Lightning.
Does he really?
Yeah,
I can't keep up with all the
What
players.
sport is the Lightning?
Hockey.
ice hockey.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ian Cole was, he went to high school in Ann Arbor, right near here. And he's been with a number of teams. He was with Pittsburgh when they won the Stanley Cup. And Dr. Cole gave me a picture of him, his whole family around the Stanley Cup, because Ian
Wow.
was able to bring it home. And I said, you should have brought it into your office. but
Office,
he
right.
didn't.
Thank you.
But Eleanor, which brother was in Vietnam?
Charles.
Charles, okay.
Charles. When Albert went in, that was when they had the rule about if one brother was in a in a war zone, the Albert never left the country. He didn't go to Vietnam because Charles was already there.
Oh, okay.
Charles was in as a Marine. He went in
Wow.
as a Marine.
Wow, God bless him.
Yeah. We
Did
used
they
to
have
sit
that
there.
thing where they didn't send
Right, right.
everybody-
brothers.
from an entire SIB ship?
Remember the ship, the Sullivan brothers? I
Yeah.
think
Sullivan Brothers,
Yeah.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah. 5 sons, I think it was, that were all
Yeah.
killed.
Yeah, they're all on the same
Ah,
ship.
ah. Wow. Yeah, we had a great time in Florida. The weather couldn't have been better. It was much warmer than when we were all there last year.
Oh, by 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But we got lucky for January. We got lucky to be sitting outside there during the day. That was, and Dave got in the ocean, so it must have
Yeah,
been, yeah.
yeah,
He survived.
yeah,
No, not by much, but okay.
yeah,
But your Tony's brother got in too. He was in there for
Yeah.
a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
He went in. Yeah,
He really seemed to have such a good time at our reunion. He really did.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad that it was something that he could enjoy
Yeah.
at the end of his life. So
yeah,
Yeah.
that
it
we
was
all
great.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
That's
That time.
that you don't know when it's the end, and just
that's
Right.
right.
just seemed to have such a good time. And it wasn't his class, but he just had a good time sitting next to him at the one dinner, and he
Yeah,
just seemed to be enjoying himself.
Oh, he
Yeah,
had a great
he
time.
did.
Yeah, and it was the last time we saw him too, so.
Oh
was
my, was it
really-
really? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really special for us, yeah. But he had been out the summer before when one of our granddaughters graduated from high school. He was there. But yeah, it was all good memories.
And it was good to see some of his classmates at the memorial we had for him, or the celebration of his life in June with Father's Day. It was terrific.
Yeah, Sue
was,
was there.
Yeah, Sue was there.
Yeah.
Pete was there,
He was there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was nice.
The birds
Yeah.
all, it was great.
Have you ever come into Tampa and gone to the River Walk? We just came in second in the nation for cities that have developed where if they have a river, they've
Really?
developed the area. We came in second in the country. I was surprised. It's
Wow.
nice. It's very nice down there.
Who was first?
Let me
San
think.
Antonio, maybe?
What is San Antonio?
No, it wasn't
San
San
Antonio?
Antonio.
No,
because I was there.
Tony, it was Detroit.
Detroit has a
yes.
fabulous river walk. Was
They
it
came in
Detroit?
first. That's
Good.
the one.
Really?
Good.
Somebody's got a
I
good
was going
memory.
to ask you because they've worked
It's
on it for
beautiful.
years and it's absolutely beautiful now. We were down there last summer.
Yeah, we didn't realize that, maybe we were away when all this happened, but.
They light it up at night. They have different colors on. You walk sometimes out over the water and they underlight the bridges that go over the river and it's all lit up different colors depending on whatever they're displaying.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
like the Canadian, yeah,
Did you go across the, what do you call it, bridge? The one that connects?
to Canada.
No, the one in Florida that connects from St. Pete down into
Oh,
yeah.
that one.
the
Yeah,
Skyway, the Skyway.
Right,
right.
They light that up at night too. The underpinnings of the bridge. Oh, it's beautiful at night. Different colors for different events or whatever.
that's neat.
Yeah, that's great.
Great.
Well,
Very
how about that? We missed that, but they've been working on that for years and years, and we were there last summer and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
They came in first.
Wow,
That's great.
Detroit's coming back. We saw it at its worst, and
Oh,
it's definitely
Really,
come back.
we have no second thoughts ever about going down there. I mean, and we do often and have for a long time.
Yeah.
They cleaned it up pretty well. There's still got a lot to do, but and like any big city like that, but it's yeah, a lot of good, the arts and a lot of stuff down there.
You know, and
All four sports now are located within a 5-block area down there, not far from the river, but a few blocks up from the river. But football, baseball, basketball, and hockey, they're all right there.
yeah,
And it's
Definitely.
literally 45 minutes from where we live.
That's
So-
great.
It's nice.
yeah. Yeah, but it still doesn't get any kind of recognition for the comeback it's made, but that'll come.
And I wasn't here earlier when the other two from California, Perones, right?
Yeah,
They were on-
Pardones.
Pardon. How did they make out with all that snow? And don't they live in one of their homes in Northern California?
Yeah, but they didn't get the snow. They're in they're in
San Clemente.
San Clemente.
San
Yeah.
Clemente.
Yeah.
But I thought they had a house up in Tahoe.
They do, yeah.
They
The
do.
house in Jerry said that where his house is there in North Lake Tahoe, they had over 40 feet.
Yeah.
40 feet of fallen snow or drifting snow?
Well, no,
Probably falling snow.
I saw some recently in Mammoth or something, California. They had a total so far of 840 inches.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, my son was telling me some of the snow is up to the tops of the chairlifts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we were lucky this year. We had almost no measurable snow at all, maybe half an inch, maybe
Right.
less.
Right down
And
here.
that's fine with me.
Yeah.
And
Because the
Harold,
first-
how much did you get?
Not 40 feet.
Washington does not realize that it is at least partly in the north. They say it's a city of southern efficiency and northern charm. Well, the first snowflake that falls, Washington comes to a halt.
Yeah.
I mean, it does not know how to cope. People have no idea how to drive in snow.
Yeah.
Those of us who grew up doing it, it comes kind of naturally. And that's what took me out to Saipan. I was living 12 miles from where I worked on Capitol Hill. Took me 8 hours to get home. I told I was a single dad. I told my kids we're blowing this town and going someplace warm. And 2 months later, we had moved to Saipan. I had a job and screw the snow.
Wow.
Well, tell them the story about you learning how to drive with Mr. Mr. Elk as your driver ed teacher in the parking lot at school. Who
Yeah,
called him?
Mr.
We called him
Elk.
Mr. Moose.
Do you remember Mr. Elk, the driver ed teacher?
What was his
Yeah.
name?
Elk.
Mr. Elk.
Your elk.
He
He was
had a
my
neck
teacher
like
too.
this,
Oh,
and he
yes, I
never
do.
smiled.
I think Lavorchik was my driver ed teacher.
In that little classroom off of the court there. Anyway, we were sitting in class, everybody was terrified of him because he had a neck this big and he was
Yeah.
an ex-Marine and he crew cut and the whole never smiled and everything else. And one day somebody raised their hand and said, Mr. Moose.
Yeah, but tell him what he did to you in the car.
Oh, he had me in, I was learning on a stick shift car, first of all, and the one that went down and then up and then down again.
On
And
the steering wheel.
they don't even have those anymore. And he took me in the parking lot and where now they have the junior high that of course wasn't there when we were all there. And I'm driving
And there's
and
snow all over the ground. It
well,
had
I
snow.
was getting to that. And there was a lot of snow on the ground and he's in the, of course, and he and I are the only two in the car and he's in the passenger side and he takes his left foot and pushes the gas pedal all the way down on top of my little baby foot. And all of a sudden we're just swerving all over the place and he's laughing and he was trying to teach me how to get out of a spin and but oh my gosh. Yeah, so he finally removed his foot off of my foot and we all survived. But we almost didn't survive when somebody said Mr. Moose.
Well, you probably were laughing so hard.
That's funny.
He didn't.
I
think it
heard
was
Mr.
funny.
Elk.
He didn't think it was
And-
funny, I bet.
He was talking to someone in the back seat and he kept saying right and I kept turning right. And then nobody knew where we were. We were lost because I kept turning right every time he said right.
Oh, that's
Well,
funny.
I was driving with somebody on Guam, as it turned out. And he was another one of these people who would say right. I finally got him to say correct, which was a hell of a lot better than right, at least.
That's funny. That's great.
Well,
That's,
Well, I guess nothing exciting as what Ginny said has happened to anybody in the last couple of months.
I must have missed what Ginny said. What was exciting, Ginny?
just things I'm gonna do. I have a golf tournament on Monday. The end of the month, I have a bike run that I'm part of. Then in May, I have Main Street Days. And September, we have Grape Fest. So I volunteer for all these things. I'll be flipping hamburgers at Main Street.
You don't lack the things to do, that's for sure. Say, before we break up, this was great getting together, but there weren't very many of us this time. I'm wondering.
Oh, Mary just disappeared.
Yeah.
Never
I
did.
hope she's okay. But
Oh,
should we
right.
do this again? And if so, how long should we wait? Because this was
About the end of June.
3 months, I would say.
Yeah, 2 to 3
I'd
months.
say 3 months.
well,
months is
this
good.
was 3 months and we still didn't get much of a turnout. Is 3 enough?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we're much longer than that, and then people are.
We had a good time.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
sure we
it
did,
was
yeah.
fun.
Well,
All right,
Harold
well,
will always be there.
that's right.
Yeah.
well, we appreciate you coming so far, Harold.
Heck of a guy, heck of a guy.
And your dogs are entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. They're kind of used to it. I actually, in what I'm doing now, I do a lot of Zoom calls where it's what I would call discussion groups, I guess is the fair way to say it.
Good.
And it's not necessarily people as a matter of fact, in terms of the calls I'm on right now, I have probably 100 people scattered over different settings and that. And there's only one of them I've ever met in my life
Really?
to be in the same room with. So only way I know these people is through the Zoom stuff and everything. And frankly, David, take some pride. I quite often brag about this event because they can't believe that we still get back together and that we would do it. We would take advantage of this silly thing called virtual and
Yeah.
actually talk to each other and everything else. And I said, yeah, it's really hard because we used to know each other.
Yeah,
I mean, we were actually used to know
Right.
and so anyway, I think there's a very hard forum here, David. It just sometimes these kind of things work, and sometimes it's just fewer number of people. There's a lot of things going on. And
Okay,
it just-
if you're happy, I'm happy to do it, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything to be feeling down about in terms of this group. I mean,
Yeah,
very frankly, we're a very dynamic group, and it's great discussion. And you know, and again, I've tried to explain to some of these people that I meet with that I said, look, some of us still remember the same car stories
That's right.
from 60 years ago. And we still know how to describe the vehicles and everything. It's really bad, but it's good. But it's good.
Yeah.
It's good that we can do that.
I can't
hey,
remember
Dave,
what I did yesterday, but I can remember back then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dave, I had one suggestion. You might want to, just a thought, maybe go out and poll everybody to see if they'd prefer, if there was another day besides Friday, maybe Wednesday, or that somebody they would find preferable. You know, maybe they're out and doing stuff with their family on Friday. I don't know. It was just a thought.
I could do that. I did lose some people to the basketball game.
Right.
Oh, that's right. It's
Basketball
the
season.
woman. That's
Final
how I'm gonna go
Four.
watch. I'm gonna go watch the 9:30 game as soon as we're done. The women's NCAA Final Four.
Oh, okay, yeah, well,
Oh, that's right. That's this weekend.
Maryland got knocked out early, which was a big
Yeah,
surprise.
Virginia Tech is playing LSU, and so, and then
That should be a
at
good
9:30, it's Iowa against South Carolina. Yeah. So
UConn girls were out a long time ago.
Oh,
yeah, there's a
Oh, wow.
young lady, I guess, on the Iowa's team that's phenomenal.
yeah, Susan. Yeah,
It just
Caitlin
doesn't.
Clark.
well, several people, not several, but 2 or 3 people sent regrets, but they wanted to watch the ball game, so.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was
I
probably it
just
then.
like how people still connect with people. I sent Harold, when he told us that he was secretly engaged to Judy, and I sent him a picture of her graduation from nursing school.
Which
Oh,
Judy?
cool.
They broke up when
Judy
they,
Kornhoff.
Oh, really?
and they broke up when they each went off to college and nursing school. So
Yeah,
I got out my yearbook from nursing school and I copied the picture and sent it to him. I said, this is what she looked like when she graduated.
that's
Oh,
awesome.
great.
That's
That's terrific.
great.
I had no idea you were a couple. You kept it a very good secret, Harold.
Yeah,
That's what I said when he said, nobody knew. I said, and Judy never said anything.
Mhm.
did Judy know?
Oh,
Did Judy know?
That would be a real secret.
I'm wondering if there's some other secrets hidden like that we ought to really kind of think about and see if we can dredge them. Let's see, does anybody remember a young lady called Judy Robinson?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I dated her.
Okay,
So
we could probably make up
Oh,
some
there,
good
you
stories
did.
about her. I mean,
Yeah.
Did you date her, Harold?
no, but she was a good friend with Judy Kornhoff, so I
Yeah.
knew her, I
Yes.
knew her reasonably well.
No, I went out a few times with Judy Robinson.
Oh,
Not in-
really? That wasn't the story I was thinking of, David.
Not anything, major,
She was
but
in high school.
I had a little black book and here it is Thursday night or
know.
so, and I didn't have a date, and I went through until somebody said yes.
Okay.
You know, talk about playing the field. I wasn't
That's
going with
great.
anybody, but I did have a black book. And Judy was in there.
How about that? That's great. Well, we saw Pat Schwarga Deeren when we were down there, spent 3 days at her place. Yeah, that was nice. Dave and Sue were gonna meet us there, as were the Pardones.
But they all bailed.
Right, right. But yeah, Pat's amazing. She plays tennis about every day and runs and walks and yeah, no, I guess she doesn't run. She walks a lot.
Yeah.
and She looks terrific.
Yeah, she's in good shape.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
St. Pete, right?
No, she's in Stewart.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking of Pat Carney. She's in St.
Oh.
Peter.
Not this year.
I
No.
meant to ask, does anybody know somebody named Harold Harvey? Yes.
Harold Martin?
He asked to join a group and our group, and he sent in something he wanted to post saying, Pat loved the photo and recognized Kenny and Jerry. So he must have been up on our site and saw the photos of that sports team or something. And I don't recognize the name. And when I sent him a message, of course, we're not friends, so the messages don't show unless you click
Spell his last name.
Harvey. And he somehow he knows somebody named Pat, but we had so many Pats in our class.
Oh, yeah.
What class was he in?
Is that I can't even tell that he was from Wantua.
Oh,
Oh.
But it may be his wife is from Wantua. But
Mhm.
he lives in New Bern, North Carolina, and we have somebody who lives in New Bern, but it wasn't a Pat. Let me see who lives in New Bern.
And Artie Springer lives in
Dawn-
Stewart.
Dawn Doherty, however you pronounce her name, lives in New Bern.
On Travers.
Travers, right.
oh.
Ah, okay.
But he didn't mention her, and he doesn't show as being friends with her. So it's not like it's her husband. Anyhow, I don't know what to do with him. I'm just gonna keep him on the fence until he eventually sees my note or somebody recognizes him. I may
Interesting.
put something out on the list. Maybe somebody knows him, but Harold Harvey.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No. Okay.
But we tried to get together with Patty Carney. She was in Southeast Florida when we were there. She was doing a Carney cousin reunion, and they were driving her all over and everything, and we just missed each other, so we didn't get to see her, but she didn't rent her place this year in St. Pete. So, yeah, she was getting a little uncomfortable being there by herself, and
Yeah, she may not do it again.
yeah, I don't think she will, but she really was in good spirits at her cousin's, and anyway, we were sorry we missed her, but Artie and Betty Springer are in Stewart, not far from Pat, and Dave and Sue saw them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and said Artie is very private, just likes to fish, and but they were doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were sorry we didn't get to see them, but anyway. Yeah, we had a good time. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't we?
That was a great time. It was fabulous.
David, maybe we can spice up the next one again. I believe there are still some hidden secrets here, okay? And I'll confess one because I can't remember any of the names other than my own, okay? And it is before we got in high school. In the 7th and 8th grade, many of us were, in the same areas and doing the same things. But I remember somewhere in that period, 7th, 8th grade, my mother met with some other mothers of kids, girls and boys, my age. And they decided that we needed to be more cultured. And number one, we had to take dancing lessons. Okay. And number two, we had to do progressive dinners. You remember the progressive dinner idea?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if anybody can dream up who was in there, I'd sure appreciate it, because all I can remember is me, but I know there were other people in there. And so I'm sorry, I just, it's one of those that it didn't make that indelible print in my head.
Oh, which course did your family prepare?
I know I
How-
wasn't there.
I wasn't there.
I wasn't there.
I want
No,
to, but did you learn how to
thankfully-
dance?
how old were you at the time?
Oh, it would have been, 12, 13. It was pre-high
Okay.
school, but it was kind of in that period right before where we were still, we were starting to socialize, but we were still awkward as hell. And,
Right.
and, it was a great time. I mean, and
You remember when they used to push back the divider between the boys' gym and the girls' gym
Yes.
for
When they had-
dance,
when
for
we had
dancing,
dance, when they had the dancing. and
dancing or square dancing too?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I have a story. We used to dance in my basement. Now Mary was part of that group, and I'm trying to remember who else, Benita. But anyway, we used to go down and dance, and then we were playing spin the bottle.
Oh,
The big Coke bottle, and spin that.
Right.
And my dad comes down and he looks and he says, "What's going on down here?" He said, Give me that bottle." And he took the bottle, and I thought, oh my God, if the floor would open and I would just dive down in there, never be seen again, I'd be happy. I was so embarrassed. And he said, "You," and he points to one of the guys and he says, "You come with me." And he took that bottle and he went over on the other side of the basement and he got a dowel stick, and he had a 4-thing bottom, like that. And then the dowel stick up, and he put an arrow on it and he could spin it. And he says, "Okay, this is safe now. You can." Then he was my hero, It went, I'm gonna die. Oh, my father's the greatest, And that went to several parties, but I don't know where it went, because somebody must have taken it home with them and never, because I never saw it again. Because I didn't, but it's still had it. But that was the most funny. I just almost died when he came down and says, "Give me that bottle, and you come with me."
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
I am still trying to find Judy Quinn. She was at the 50th reunion.
Yes.
I saw her
Yes.
picture. But her name is too common. There's just, when you search Spokio and all those,
Right.
I haven't been able to find her that way or whatever.
Is she on your list, Dave? Judy Quinn?
No.
Judy Quinn, let me see. Hold on, I don't think so.
I'm looking
I-
for a
She was
time to
in
say
Connecticut,
goodbye.
I know.
Hey, Eleanor,
Was
which reunion was she at? I'm trying to remember.
It was the 50th. I was not
Okay,
there.
and I was at that.
She was at the 50th
she
and she
was.
was
Yeah.
living
I
in
saw her
Connecticut.
name.
Right.
No, she's not on my list. If anybody has contact information, let me know.
She was in Connecticut.
Is that where she was, in Connecticut?
Yes, at the 50th. Yep. Yeah.
Well,
Wow. Yeah.
Hey, that was the 50th. No, I wasn't at the 50th. What year was that?
Well,
2010.
Years ago,
2010.
2010. Thank you.
2010.
Takes an
Yes.
engineer.
Because I know I
Yes.
missed one
we
because I
graduated 60.
Right.
Right. The math is pretty simple for that one, yeah.
I was going to say,
getting
we
harder.
graduated 60, 50 onto that is pretty clear.
Right. Just took us a while. But yeah, she was great there. She looked terrific. She was,
I'll
yeah,
find it somehow.
I liked her a lot. I
Well,
think,
Me too.
I was good friends with her in high school.
yeah. Well,
Never-
I think I've told the story before. I think after our first Zoom meeting, Lavinia McCron contacted me. She's now Lavinia Adler. And if she's watching the rerun, hi Lavinia. And because she does, she watches them.
Watches the rerun.
Yes,
I
but
don't know why they don't get on. I don't realize.
I know. Lavinia, why don't
She
you?
used to come on.
She was on. And she contacted me by email after, I believe it was the first Zoom. and said, did you say your daughter went to school in Binghamton? And I wrote her back and I said, no, that wasn't my daughter. It may have been, I think, maybe Dave and Sue Birdsall's. She's in Binghamton, New York. And so I said, by the way, how are you? And because she didn't say much on the Zoom, and we started going back and forth in emailing, and we've still been emailing. I owe you one, Lavinia. But yeah, it's been so nice to, she sends pictures. They got.
I had the
snow
same
last year.
experience.
Yeah, did
I
you?
had the same experience with her, Lynn.
Did
And,
you?
yeah, and she was a great correspondent.
Yeah, she's terrific. And she tells me that I went on YouTube and watched it, and it looked like you were all having so much fun. And took her like 3 days to get through the whole thing. And but anyway, it's been so nice to have connected with her. Yeah. She said, you can call me Benny. A lot of people call me Benny. And I said, no, you're always going to be Lavinia to me.
Yeah, she signs her emails most of the time, Vinny.
Benny, yeah, yeah.
And
But-
the other one, I can't remember his name, the one who wrote all the stories about growing up. He lived on Beach Street or whatever. Remember he had all
Oh, yeah,
the stories.
yeah. You know who it is.
Yeah.
Bob
It's-
Ogilvy. Is it
Well,
Ogilvy?
besides him was the other one. And he wrote that whole story about Wantor for his kids or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob
Yeah,
Ogilvy,
I sent those out to everybody.
right, that's what, Bob Ogilvy, I sent him an email because I had taken care of one of his children when I
Oh,
worked.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
it doesn't have it's not a common name. And it was
Right.
one set of twins, and they transferred the baby over to Meadowbrook from one of the local hospitals. It was a preemie. And
Ah.
I texted him back and he said, yes, I tell my son the story all the time. Because he grew up right on the corner from us.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I had to face something this week that I guess some of you may have faced, but my son just turned 58, and that seems impossible to me.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he says, like he said, he's 2 years shy of 60. I'm
Yeah.
not old enough. Am I old enough to have a kid that old? I
No.
guess so.
Yeah.
All of our kids are in their 50s.
Yeah. Our daughter will be
Mine-
Yes.
Yeah, Mother Teresa will be 58 this year.
in
Is
December.
anybody a great grandmother yet? I haven't gotten there yet. None of them.
I have
don't know.
no grades.
No,
My
we
oldest are
don't-
20.
We have two.
24.
What's that?
My oldest are 23, 24 going, out of college. And my youngest is 15. So I don't know if I'll ever see. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two of our grandchildren are getting married, one in August this year and the other one June of next year. They're brother.
How
and
old are they?
sister. Katie is 27 and Danny is
29.
29.
Well, they're,
Yeah.
I don't know how you remember that. I have to look them up. I
Well,
can't
it's
remember
easy
how-
because our grandkids now are, the littles are 5, 6, and 7. And then the bigs are,
But you have the big gate,
yeah, our two sons had children very late. But anyway, and then the
The
bigs are, I'm looking at their picture, 19, 21, twins are 24,
27.
20, no, they're all the same now. 19, 21, 25, 27, 29, 31. So it's
From
easy.
one family or?
No,
No,
from 4. And then the littles are 5, 6, and 7. That's our two sons. Our 2 daughters had the bigs.
so cute.
So, but nobody's talking about kids.
I miss having littles.
Yeah, they're great. They're fun. Yeah. The little,
Lynn and I, she has a daughter named Lynn Teresa, and I have a daughter named Teresa Lynn.
and our daughter is Teresa Lynn. Yeah.
Right. No, I thought your daughter was Lynn Teresa. She's
No,
Teresa.
No,
Teresa
she's
Lynn.
Teresa Lynn.
That's
Yeah.
right. They have the same name.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I named my daughter after Lynn. It's her
That-
middle name, named after her.
Thank you. That's
And I'm gonna
amazing.
find the picture. her first name was another, went to nursing school with. When I had my fourth daughter, I mean, I was running out of names. Nurse said, just think of people you've met in your life that you just enjoyed. And I said, I knew right away. One was a woman I went to nursing school with named Teresa, and her middle name is Lynn. That's
God
right.
bless you. Thank you. You're the only one. They haven't lined up to get my name.
Yeah, and there's not a boatload of Anthony's around either.
No, but anyway, so we both have a Teresa Lynn. We call ours Mother Teresa.
Oh, that's what you meant when you said Mother Teresa. before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was
Oh, they
wondering,
call her that too.
Do they?
Yeah, well, she's the youngest of the four of them. Yes.
Oh,
and-
it's the ours is the oldest. Yeah, yeah. And she's a pediatric nurse. Is your Teresa Lynn a nurse?
None of my girls got into nursing, they didn't want anything to do with any part of that.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
She
Yeah.
works in, what do you call it? Human resources.
Okay. Well, that's almost nursing.
these days.
Yeah, you gotta fix a lot of people. Oh, well, I know it's something exciting. Our youngest, John, is a professor at UVA, and when we were down there in February to celebrate his son, he has one of the littles. His 6th birthday, John found out that he was just promoted to associate dean. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
School of Architecture.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
that's pretty
Yeah.
special.
Great.
Dave, do you have Barbara Burkhardt on your list? Because
I think so.
okay, because she texted me about a year ago. I guess maybe she saw the list. Because
Now,
she's
who knows if it's current, but I'm pretty sure she's there. Just a minute.
somewhere near Miami. I forget, Fort Lauderdale or one of the beaches there.
Judy Quinn must be on somebody's list because, or she
No,
wouldn't,
she's not.
well, she wouldn't have gotten to the 50th reunion.
that's what I
Probably
thought.
maybe
That is-
somebody told her about it, but
Who are you saying, Tony?
she must be on somebody's list somewhere, or she wouldn't have gotten to the 50th reunion unless somebody going contacted her, knew where she was and contacted her, which may have happened, but
You're talking about Barbara Burkhardt?
No, we're talking about Judy Quinn now.
Judy Quinn. No, Judy Quinn is definitely not on my list. She
No,
may have been on,
yeah, she might have been on yeah, what's his name's list?
Carney.
Richie Edom had the
Richard
list.
Edom's
Well,
list.
it could have been on Rich's list or on the
Yeah.
Southampton crowd list.
Yeah.
I don't see. No,
Let's look it up, Judy Quinn, Connecticut. We had a town that would be easier.
Well, now it's
Barbara
gonna say-
Burkhardt. Wait a second. I do have Barbara Burkhardt.
You
Who
have her,
wants to know
okay.
Barbara? I have her in Sunny Isles Beach in Florida.
yes, that's where she told me she is, Sunny
Wow.
Island.
And I have an email and a phone number. So you have the directory I sent you, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, she's on there if you want to
She's on there,
contact her.
okay.
And where is that town?
It's north of Miami, not as far up as Fort Lauderdale, but it's north of Miami.
So
Okay.
Broward County, probably.
But Judy Quinn, now I have Connecticut, and I know how old she is, so I should be able to narrow it somehow.
Yeah,
Well, she's got to be within a year of 80, so
yeah.
79 to 81.
Yeah.
I keep flipping back and forth in my computer. When you guys ask me questions, I quick go look it up.
Judy Quinn is apparently on Facebook.
Our Judy Quinn?
Yeah, hold on a minute.
How do you know?
But
Oh, wait, I have to get my phone. Wait a
Where's
minute.
your thumb?
that's not her. I have to get out of
Okay.
it.
Uh,
I got put to the wrong.
I have to sign off. So
Oh.
it's seeing everybody.
Good
See
to
you, Sue.
see
Yeah.
you.
Can't
Good
wait
to
for
see
the
you.
next one. Okay,
Yeah.
bye-bye.
I hope you'll join us again, Susan.
Please take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
It's almost
Hey,
10 o'clock.
Dave, I think I'm gonna roll too. For some reason, I assume you guys can see me, but for some reason my screen went blank, but,
Yeah, we can see you.
okay. So, yeah, I'm trying not to do
Well,
anything.
we probably should
inappropriate.
wrap this up anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
Yes.
almost half hour over, so. It's
But,
good to see
yeah, I look
everybody.
forward to maybe the end of June or something.
Always.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll set
Okay.
something up. Tony, and then I'll talk to you guys and the other guys, and hopefully we can find a day when the rest of the committee can make it at
Yeah,
least.
you know, that might be a good suggestion, not having it on a Friday night.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah, it might be, just because it's the
Knows.
start of the weekend.
It's hard to know what to do.
Thursday night might work. It seems like
Yeah,
meetings and that sort of thing are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. By Thursday, everybody's like, I don't want to go to another meeting. So
Yeah, right.
Thursday might be better.
right. You know, or they're at their own happy hour locally.
Right.
It's
Everybody
usually a
must
good
be
happy
hard.
hour. Out.
What's that?
Wednesday, I usually go out for happy hour.
Yeah, I was
Good.
thinking Thursday is usually a good night for
Yeah, Thursday'd be better
things
for
Yeah.
like around
Oh.
here.
Well, I can just send out and ask people to suggest nights, and we'll see if, I won't make a formal Google form. Well, good.
Do a
but,
spreadsheet.
What?
Do a spreadsheet. You
I
know?
can do it on a Google form, and people can just, give multiple choice.
Yeah,
Or you could just say you're thinking of doing it next time on Thursday and see if that's a problem for anybody.
What do you guys think?
Yeah. just
Sure.
rather-
Just try.
Thursday's good for me.
Any
Yeah.
day is good for me if I don't happen to have something. So.
I see.
All right, well, I'll do something.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks a lot for joining us.
And
Thank
have a
you,
good
Dave.
Harold, you get the
Thanks,
prize
Dave.
for coming furthest again.
Although you were just in Kuala Lumpur, and I can't believe you said that before you hang up. We had friends here today for lunch at noon and they left at 6. So we hadn't seen them since before COVID. And we were catching up on our family and everything. And she said, well, my daughter Ann is coming back from Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
She'd been there 12 years, she and her husband working in an American school teaching over there. And I'm like, Kuala Lumpur came up twice today. So that's like very
Well, it
deep.
turns out a friend of mine was there when I was there and I didn't know she was.
Wow.
Well, it was just like, wow, that's coincidental, but anyway.
I mean, whoever talks about Kuala Lumpur. I mean,
Right,
it's
right,
not-
exactly.
That doesn't come up in
Twice in one-
conversation.
right.
Great
Twice
place.
in one day. Yeah, but anyhow, well, God bless you for making a trip around the world. That's quite
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
Well, I'll tell
we
you,
made a trip around Florida and that was good enough for us.
but that's only one time zone. Going through 24 time zones takes some adjustment.
But we
Yeah, right.
figured it out. By the time we got home, we had slept in 13 different beds. Yeah, I'm getting too
I'm-
old for this.
I hope
I'm
with
gonna
the
be
same,
80.
I hope with the same person, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
like she said, she's gonna be 80 soon, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
happy birthday, Eleanor. Yeah,
Thank
Oh,
you.
when's your birthday?
It was in February.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes.
You missed it.
My dad had a saying whenever we were around, he had all 4 of us. And he'd meet somebody, he says, oh yes, these are my wife's children by her first marriage. And we'd all stand there and look at him and say, is that right? You know, my wife's children by her first marriage. There we go.
Lynn, tell them when we had the party, my daughter does all this stuff. She had them play How Well Do You Know Eleanor? So this is with the grandchildren, with my siblings. There were some friends that I've known for years playing How Well Did They Know Me or whatever. You
that's
had
awesome.
answers to the question. And guess who won? My husband won the game.
Hey,
Ah,
isn't he lucky?
It's a
Because if
good
he
thing,
hadn't, he would have been in trouble.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just went to a friend's birthday party, a lady I worked with for 30 years. She had her 75th, she's a youngster, on Sunday. And we played a similar thing. And I knew a lot of the stuff that was current, but I didn't know where she was born. I never.
No.
And Johnny thought he had it made when they said, who was her first boyfriend? And Johnny was, I know. My husband, he also had it right too.
Wow. So who
All
was
right,
it?
who was your first boyfriend?
Olson, Harry Olson.
Harry
Oh,
Olson.
Ah.
I remember him.
How
Nice
about
guy.
that?
He
Yeah.
was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
He lived
Yeah.
behind us. His mother had passed away, so he didn't have, his father was always working. He lived with us, spent more time with us, and he was always over the house. I just found a picture of him and Cindy is in the
Oh, my
picture
gosh.
on
Huh.
our front stoop in one.
Why do I think of him as a couple with, was it Geraldine?
He
Wasn't
didn't graduate with us. He left at the end of the 11th grade, went into
Right.
the army, went to Germany,
Wow.
married over there. Johnny
He got
just
what?
he got married over in Germany when he was in the service. And
But-
he calls Johnny. Apparently, he got a hold of him this year on the phone for his birthday. Remembered the Pearl Harbor thing.
Mhm.
And Johnny talked to him. Just became an RN. So,
We lost
Really?
Pete.
Wow. How
Oh,
about
my
that?
gosh.
We just
Wow.
lost Pete. All
Well,
right.
my first boyfriend is on here tonight. Right, Harold?
it's got to be.
That's right.
Harold and
Same-
I,
I was gonna go the other way.
third
Guess who
grade,
my
right?
first girlfriend was.
Third grade.
Third grade. And our moms
Right.
got to know each other.
I carried her books home every day from school.
That's nice.
And she came over once or twice to my house and my mother made her a wonderful sandwich or two.
Yep. And you had a little dachshund, I remember.
You were already doing
Yeah.
progressive dinners and you were also, did you dance?
Yeah, yeah.
So you
I
didn't do any of that what was it, middle school?
well, again, it's hard to explain, but I mean, it was all very socially awkward. But these mothers were totally powerful. And they got several of the boys by the year, and we danced and we went to progressive dinners and even wore a tie. I mean, it was incredible.
I tracked down and got in touch with my 6 and 7-year-old girlfriend who I went to day camp with in Amityville. And she was hard to track down, but I finally did because she slightly changed her name. Her name was Carol Sue, and she changed to Carrie, K-A-R-I, Sue, S-I-O-U-X, if you can
Of
believe
course.
Yeah.
an aged hippie. She turned out to be an aged hippie. But it was interesting talking to her.
Wow, that's amazing. You found her with a name
Yeah.
change.
But she was from Levittown and she's living in the same house. I don't know whether she lived there the whole time or whether she got it from her parents. But she's living at the same address where she was living when I remembered her. I used to ride over there on my bicycle. It was about half a mile away. And my
Wow,
parents let me go anywhere as long as I was home for dinner.
right.
So I had this little 20-inch bike and I used to ride over to her house and with roller skates in my basket, we'd strap on our skates and go down to the village green and skate around and stuff. It was puppy love, it was cute. Carol Gordon, as far as I was concerned, but now she's Carrie Sue.
That's great. That's great. So you don't remember your first girlfriend, huh?
I can't.
But I'll never forget her birthday because it's exactly 3 months after mine.
Aha.
She's 3 months younger to the day, so it's easy to remember.
It might have been Georgine Koob because I remember going over her house a lot.
Remember Georgine Koob? Anybody?
I
remember?
do.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Georgine who?
Koob.
Both
did-
backwards.
Go to high school with us because her mother took her out and put her in the Catholic high school in, what was it, Patchogue? And she used to
Absolutely.
she used to go by the Wantor Parkway. We were sitting in math class and they started later and her mother would go by in the car. I would sit in that class and watch for Georgine's car. Johnny ran into her husband, I think it is, when he was working, before he left work and moved and all that. And he told me her married name, but I forget it and I don't remember it now because I've tried to find her. That's an unusual first name.
Yes.
Yeah,
Many people named Georgine, and
Right.
she's in the picture with Ginny. That's in the yearbook.
Yeah.
Picture of us in the gym class.
Right, right.
Well, you know, I used to finish my chores on Saturday as early as I could, and I'd go over to her house. I'd ride my bike over to her house just to listen to her play the piano. She would practice, and I
Wow.
would sit
She
there and
had
listen
that
to her.
big yard next to her,
Yeah, she could play so beautifully.
yard and stuff out there.
It's amazing how far abroad we could go without worrying about safety.
Yeah,
Nowadays, if your kid's out of sight for more than a minute or two, you start worrying.
But yeah,
And,
as long as you were home in time for supper.
that's
Right?
it. I mean, I used to go from well up into Levittown to down South America Road
yeah.
and didn't think anything of it.
No,
yeah.
in second grade,
Yep.
you know, we lived just north of the tracks. And in second
Right.
grade, I still, Beach Street School wasn't built yet, so I was going to the Sunrise Park School and I missed the bus. And I know it was second grade because that's the only year I went there. And I was afraid to tell my mother, so I walked across Sunrise Highway in second grade, all the way down to the Sunrise Park School. And I know you find this hard to believe, but I was little. Very
Yes,
little.
you
I
were.
could not open the door. The front door,
Those were big doors.
these big oak doors. And I stood there and I couldn't open the door, so I turned around and walked home across Sunrise Highway again. And I know, it's so vivid in my memory, but
Oh, it's now gone. They took that.
yeah, yeah,
It's a shame they had to tear it down.
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, I went there for sixth grade because they established a walking zone for the Beach Street School in the center. And of course, the kids from the south went to Sunrise Park, so they filled it up with kids from the north and bussed us down, leapfrogging over.
Oh,
the,
gee,
It was pretty stupid, but I guess it worked.
yeah.
Remember the very old school?
Oh, the
Oh,
old
yes,
school.
Seymour Avenue.
Right.
Yeah,
Which
And
was
I
on
don't know
Beach
how it
Street.
ever got that name. There was
I
never.
don't know, it was on
Seymour
Beach Street.
Avenue. And
Yeah.
that's right near where we lived, and we called it the old school. It was
That's
always
what we
the
called it too,
school.
the old school.
Right, right. Yeah, but it was
on
also
Beach Street.
Seymour Avenue. Yeah, where is Seymour Avenue?
I don't know, I never found it.
no, we never did either.
And then Beach Street technically is the Wantor School. It's not
Right.
even Beach Street.
Right, yeah. And right after they built it, it was obsolete because they built that wing out the side. And that's where I went in fifth grade. Yeah, the school was 2 years old and they already had to build a wing.
I went to fifth grade there. Did anybody have or remember Mrs. Roworth?
Who?
Roworth.
No.
I was in a class with Ken Sly and Jortland, Bob Jortland, and Ginny Sheldon. At least I remember them being in the class. And I don't know who else, but anyhow, that was fifth grade.
Well, Harold, were you in Mrs. Lamb's class in fifth grade?
Yes, I was. As
That's
a
what
matter
I
of
thought.
Hey, we're sinking here. I was just going to bring it up. I still hold the record for one of the best report cards she ever gave.
Really?
Yes, in the third grade, my report card taken home, saved by my mother for years. And embedded in my mind is, Mrs. Lamb wrote, Harold isn't too bright, but he's such a happy little fellow. If I had died between the 3rd and 4th grade.
Oh my God.
That's your legacy.
That would have been, they could have put it on your tombstone.
Oh, yeah.
Not too bright.
But he's a happy little fellow.
Happy little fellow.
That is
One of the
hilarious.
most happy fellow.
Oh, hell of a legacy.
And I'm not making that up. That's the honest to God truth.
So wait, so you guys were all in the Beach Street School in 5th grade, right?
Yep.
Except Eleanor,
No,
we had to go, I remember going to Beach Street School for half of 5th grade for some reason.
I don't,
Well, half of 5th grade was on split session, I think. And then they changed it back to full session.
Well, I think it's when they were building an extension onto Sunrise Park. And I remember my teacher's name. I think it was Mrs. Ronick, something like Mrs. Ronick.
I don't remember going to Beach Street at all. I would go up there during the summer for their summer programs.
Mhm.
I
And
thought I
this-
was at Sunrise
Yeah.
Park all the
In
time.
Sunrise Park in 6th grade, I had a Mr. Rosenberg.
So did I.
That's where I went.
Okay, then you were
Really?
probably in
Yes.
my class, Tom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Who was the teacher that had, he had the double canes, like he had polio? Gallagher, wasn't that his name?
yeah, I don't know. I don't
that rings a
remember.
bell, but I don't
Remember him.
remember.
But I-
Okay, Dave Russo, whose class were you in? In 5th grade?
Wake him up.
Uh,
Good morning, Dave.
I don't think I moved here till after the 5th grade.
Oh, okay.
I think I started in the 6th because yeah, I was 12, 6th
Okay.
or 7th grade. I was 12 when we moved in.
I moved a few weeks before the end of 4th grade, so my parents drove me up to Levittown for the last few weeks of school. So I wouldn't have to transfer, just before the end of the year, which was
Yeah.
damn nice
I
of them.
can't remember a lot of my teachers from Sunrise Park. I think I had Mrs. Devlin.
That rings a bell.
Well, I remember that name. That rings a bell, is right.
It sounds familiar.
But the one man, I just remember I think it was polio, because I remember he had canes and he had a problem walking.
Mhm.
Fairly
Probably
young.
was.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, my gosh, that.
I know
is
two
the funniest
people
thing about
now
Mrs. Lamb.
who
Oh,
are
my God.
A little younger than we are, who now have had relapses of polio.
Yes, it's coming back and.
Coming back, my first wife and a cousin of mine by marriage, both have had relapses.
Wow.
I work with a doctor who's the same thing, had it when he was younger, and now it's the symptoms are,
Oh, my gosh.
That's
they're
hard.
not really sure why.
How
I
are
mean,
they?
it was unexpected, I guess. I mean, but now they're old enough to have this happen. It's just a damn shame.
Oh, that's
Wow.
awful. Wow.
And in fact,
Wow.
it's one of my cousin's grandchildren who's becoming a bar mitzvah at the end of April, which is taking me down to Florida. I have a small enough family that I don't want to miss this. So
No,
I
yeah.
missed his brothers. And this one I'm going to make, so maybe I can see some people.
Right,
That's
they're,
right.
they're fun.
I'd
Do you
like to
remember
try to
the-
track down Rich Zick in one of, Bob Zaberna in one of his places.
Mhm.
Do you
Or
remember
whether he's-
Joel? You remember Joel Newshatz?
Yes,
He lived down, I think he went to Sunrise Park too, and I wound up going to his bar mitzvah.
oh, good for you. I'm
Yeah,
glad that they let you. There was a time when they didn't let good Catholic boys go into synagogues.
yeah, it was,
Well, you used to take them to get ashes too.
well, Bob Barron came with us to get ashes every Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, all right.
So he could skip school for
Aaron-
half.
Aaron
That's
likes-
right, because
Yeah,
we took
right.
half the day off and went to
Yeah.
the beach usually.
That's what they said, the population of school would all of a sudden become Catholic on every holiday.
That's right.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, I was just talking about Bob Barron. I was at the dentist, Dr. Cole. Dr. Cole, whose son plays for Tampa Bay Lightnings. I was just there and he said, "You have such nice teeth." And I'm like, except for the fang. And he goes, "What fang? That's a great tooth. I like that tooth." And I said, "Well, let me tell you, I went to our 25th high school reunion and this classmate of mine, I didn't give his name, I said, he came up to me, it was Bob Barron, and said, "Hey, you never got your fang fixed."
So did you have it ground down after that?
No.
Dr. Cole ground it down a little bit, but he kept saying, "There's nothing wrong with that tooth. It's fine," and all of this. So he said, "What? He said that to you?" I said, "Yes, he did, but I had the greatest comeback." I said, "And you never got your face fixed."
Well,
Resist.
Good for you.
may he rest in peace.
That's what I said. And now he's gone, but may he rest in peace. And
Yeah.
Dr. Cole was kind enough to grind down the thing. Yeah.
So it's good to know that we had a little a man about town that lived near Lynn. Harold was the man about town with the young ladies over there.
In third
Yeah,
grade.
well, I kind of got it out my system early in life. Let's put it that way. and that, but
Oh, I don't know. You certainly pursued Lori later in life.
oh yeah, well, again, that she was going to be the answer to one of those questions, you know. Who was my girlfriend before Judy Kornhoff?
Oh, is
And
that,
after Judy Kornhoff, Lori Conlon.
See, look at this.
no, it's
Wow.
funny, after taking her to the 8th grade prom, I never dated her in high school. It turns out her father was anti-Semitic and wouldn't let her date me.
Really?
Wow.
He was a terror from what she told me.
Yeah,
Quite a guy, and terrorized all 3 of his girls,
yeah.
particularly.
Dave, as I remember, I managed to never be at their house when he was home.
Really?
Wow.
I'm not sure I ever met him, but he knew about me, and
Well, I knew who he was, but I'm not sure I was ever.
apparently he was
I'm
a
pretty sure I
terror,
was never inside the house when he came home.
particularly for Lori and Connie. I don't know if any of you knew.
Yes,
Connie.
yes.
Diane may have escaped a lot of it because she was a model or something and was not around that much, but he must have been quite something.
Yeah, he was pretty tough about it with us young
Yeah.
boys.
So I never saw again for 50 some odd years, and we
Oh, my
got
God.
together again
Jeez.
in what was it, 78? No, when was our 50th?
Here we go. 2010.
510.
1960
so
plus
in-
50.
In 07 or 08, somehow Lauren and I got hooked up again, and that was really nice to get to
Yeah,
know
you
her
were-
as an adult.
I remember you
Yeah,
two at
I-
the reunion. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see, I'm gonna.
and I missed my chance.
Yeah. I remember we never had any of those kind of issues or even thought about that kind of stuff. You know, who was Catholic, who was Jewish,
Yeah.
who was Irish, who was Italian, who cared?
Yeah.
Nobody
You
cared.
know? Yeah.
Nobody cared, but apparently Mr. Conlon did.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Well, the other part is that, again, we're opening new doors here. So David Russo, you and I need to tell sometime the story of the guys we hung around with for several years and how we almost got in trouble a bunch of times
Okay.
and never
Oh,
did.
minor
We
trouble.
never got caught bad. I mean,
Who did you hang around with?
Well, John Schnorr, thank you for.
yeah.
John
He was
John
in our
Higgins.
class.
John
I think he was
Higgins.
in Mrs. Lamb's
Wait,
class.
John Schnorr and who?
John Higgins.
Bausbeck.
Right.
Alan Bausback was a cousin?
Yes, yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, we were a secret little group, and
Yeah. Well, that's
we
it.
moved low profile. We had fast
John Higgins.
cars. Fast cars.
John Higgins was part of the group.
Yeah, he
Wow.
was bigger than
Holy
life.
cow.
So you
Yeah,
guys,
thanks for following up on John Schnorr's biography, Dave. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. It took some digging.
Yeah. You know, like all of a sudden I didn't get a Christmas card from him and had to investigate.
Yeah, well, thanks for putting me onto it in the first place.
Wow.
Boy, you guys flew low under the radar, I'll tell you.
Right. The one you never spotted probably was Bob Staggett.
Bob,
Really?
Bob Saget, yes.
oh my
Yeah.
goodness, yeah.
He was a terrorist with at night sometimes.
Really?
I'll be darned. And he
Yes,
was the
yes.
number one brightest person in our class, right?
Yeah,
Yes, he
didn't-
was.
He and I would
Didn't
fight
rub
it
off on
out
me.
for sometimes he was ascendant, sometimes I was, and we were friendly competitors.
Wow.
And you know, he lived right next to the school in the very first
Right.
house.
We used to sneak over there.
Yeah.
After school.
Yeah.
Through the
Yeah,
gate.
he lived in the house just right outside the gate.
Right.
beside
Yeah.
gate to the school.
And right, and
Yeah.
I when I was looking for him, I caught up with his granddaughter, and
Yeah.
she told me a few things, and her aunt and uncle, who were Down kids, when I knew them,
Yeah, right.
she of course knew them as adults, and it's very interesting. But yeah, I like Bob a lot, and
Yeah.
we were, like I say, we were friendly competitors.
Mhm.
He got an 800 on his math SATs, and I didn't get. I missed one question apparently. In those days, they didn't tell you what you did, so I was really mad about that. And but then I got the Phi Beta Kappa award for the best academic average. So I leapfrogged over him for that one. So it was friendly, but it was fun. And
great.
he was really smart, though. He was better than
Yeah.
I was at math and science, that's for sure. And,
Yeah.
Well, there was this hidden group of pre-nerds is what it turns out.
Yeah.
We actually kept such a low profile. You guys didn't even know.
How did you
No.
how did you not include me in that group? I was about as nerdy as you could get.
Well, we roamed. There was about 5 or 6 of us, and between us, we had 1 or 2 good cars, and we would go places and do things.
I had a
and-
bad car, but it ran. My
Yeah.
Plymouth unconvertible. It started out as a convertible. By the time I bought it, it had broken a strut, and I could never find a replacement. And I froze in the winter, and at least it was stuck with the top up, not down, so at least kept the rain off. But boy, that car was cold. But it served me for a year or two until I graduated.
Yeah, Harold, there were 5 or 6 of us until you dropped out. Some girl, you got involved.
All right.
All of a sudden you
Well,
disappeared.
hey, the guy has to make a choice sometimes.
Hey,
You threw us over, huh?
Well, I can't wait to hear these stories.
Yeah,
yeah, me too. Find out what I was missing all those years.
Yeah. And
Well,
you
I
got
can't
in
wait.
trouble?
I can't wait till you all confront John Higgins with the truth. See?
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
right.
he squirms. You know, he'll tell you, oh, no, I never knew those guys.
Next time he's on, we'll squeeze him for some information.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Sneak up on him. It's okay.
Alan Bausback lives a couple of miles from me up home,
Really?
and I just can't get him involved with this, you know, we just,
Oh,
Well,
okay.
maybe you can get him to come on next time.
I'll try.
Yeah,
He lives near you now in St. Pete?
You know, in up near Albany,
Oh, okay,
home.
when you go back, yeah.
I go back, yeah.
Okay, well, if you have contact information, send it to me. I'll put them on our email list. at
Yeah.
least.
All right, okay.
Yeah, and get him on there next time, because we want to hear these stories.
yeah. The clandestine 5.
Yeah, well,
Oh, my gosh,
Oh, well, I'm gonna turn into a pumpkin.
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
it's
well,
time.
this
It
has
was
been
so
real.
nice. You
This
guys
has been
take care.
great, man. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Stay
Yeah.
healthy.
Well,
It's the
thank you
quality-
all for coming.
The quality, not the
And,
quantity.
Ah,
Right.
You bet.
Have a good next 3 months, and happy Easter, happy Passover,
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
You got
we'll
it.
see you Soon.
and
Ginny, have a good time at all your events.
Oh,
Right.
well, come on out anytime.
everybody, please stay safe and healthy.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, stay well, stay well.
everybody. Yeah, we have too many laughs to go yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. and Too many people on our memorial list, so I don't want to add any more.
No,
No.
no more.
We haven't heard of any recently, which is good.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't want anybody slipping away before we know their secrets.
That's
Right.
right.
That's
Right,
right.
there you go.
Don't take them with you.
You can't take them with you.
Yeah,
You get the clandestine 5 on here. I
that's
wanna
right.
hear
We'll
it.
have some-
Yeah, we want to hear your stories. Okay, who's ever watching this at home later should come to the next one because it should be
Right.
interesting.
How come it's only the guys that have all these stories about all the bad things? We must not have anything.
We
No,
were perfect.
we
right?
were nice little girls.
That's right.
So it's Harold, Dave, John Higgins, Alan Bausback, Bob Staggett was gone. Who else?
Russell Coughlin was involved.
Really?
Okay, I
Wow.
remember him.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Oh, my. This is gonna be.
John
fun.
Schnorr.
Oh, yeah, and John Schnorr,
Schnorr,
but he's
yeah,
gone
yeah.
also. He's not going to show up.
Oh,
So,
has he passed away?
yeah,
Oh.
Recently.
Oh,
And
man.
we should try to think about having a live one again,
Yeah,
all of us just.
Anytime.
pick a
maybe
place,
next winter.
Pick some place
Yeah.
warm.
Warm. Yeah, well, we thought Florida was warm and we were wrong.
I thought you
Well,
were
we
gonna
could go to Florida in August, it'll be warm.
I thought Tony wanted to cruise, remember? The last time you wanted to cruise.
I would do it
Did-
anytime if anybody else
John
wants to
wanted
cruise.
We brought that up and
Yeah.
Sue
Just
gets,
as long as it's someplace
Yeah.
warm. I'm tired of the
gets-
cold.
and somebody else said they get seasick. I can't remember, so, yeah, that was,
On a big ship like that, I thought I would, but on the big ones,
No,
anything.
yeah.
Frankly, I like smaller ships better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. We like river cruises, river ships.
Yeah.
The big ocean cruises are nice because they go to warm places and it's warm.
That's all I'm asking for.
But
Is
you
it-
If
said
anybody has it,
is
The
it
one
warm in
cruise
Kuala
went
Lumpur?
yes, it was. It was lovely.
There you go. That'd be closer for Harold.
like
Yeah,
the
but
one you went on.
What's that?
Tony said he didn't like the one cruise last time.
I've never been on a real cruise.
And, Tony went on the river cruise in the Pacific. Didn't you say you didn't like that one?
No,
No,
that
No,
wasn't.
I was on a river cruise in Europe I didn't like. My wife loved it, so go figure.
Oh, yeah.
we were
did-
on one in Europe from.
I did a
from
river
Paris.
cruise several years ago and it was fantastic. It was great. The best part about it is you go there with your luggage and you put it in your room and you unpack. You never touch it again until you leave.
That's
I
You
right.
love
don't get any money or anything because it's all paid for.
That's what
Right.
I like.
Done,
about it.
everything's done.
Yeah,
Then you got
Yeah,
the.
except when you're touring someplace, you got to do it on their schedule. And when they're ready to leave, you better be ready to leave.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, we went
Check.
on scenic and that's out of Australia. It wasn't cheap though. That's the only thing. It was pretty darn expensive. But they gave us spending money, all the excursions.
Really?
Free. It was all, everything was paid for. I didn't have to even tip anybody because all the tips were taken care of. It was done.
that's nice.
Yeah, the
Oh,
river
yeah.
cruises are like that too, but even the ocean cruises now, we were looking at them because we're thinking about doing one in May or June. And they're more expensive than they were, but still for like $700-800 a person, you can go on a 7-day cruise and it includes everything,
All inclusive. Yeah.
everything, all your
Yeah.
meals, show,
This.
everything.
I don't want to have to pay a single supplement, though. I either need a roommate or one of these cruises that doesn't charge extra because they're trying to fill up their cabins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they usually want 2 to a room.
Anyway, think about it.
Yeah,
Stay well.
Okay.
This is
All right,
always
good.
fun.
Yeah,
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye,
bye.
y'all.
take care.
Thanks for coming. I'm gonna stop the recording. If I can find it. Recording.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.